What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 1007 of Pop Culture Crisis. My goodness, 1007 episodes of anything. My name is Brett. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day today, and I am here with my guest co-host for the day. He is back. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Levanti. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary, and we are here today with Libby Emmons.
Hey, Phil.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's good to see you.
Nice to see you
We're
guys.
also here with Brando Unchained.
Oh my God, I actually
Of
like
all
that.
the movies.
That's
know.
that's pretty
How
funny.
you doing, Brando?
I'm good. What's up, guys? Your boy Brando here, producer, general bullshit enthusiast, and skateboarder for the Boonies here at Timcast. So,
Wait,
I
I'll be back.
apologize. I didn't allow Libby to go ahead and plug her stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh yes, allow me. I'm the host of the new hit podcast, The Pod Millennial. You can check it out at thepodmillennial.com for all of your links to where you listen to podcasts. Next week, our episode with Tim drops. We've had Phil on. We had some great episodes so far. Drea DeMatteo, Michael Knowles, Jack Posobiec, and I'm sure I'm forgetting someone.
Oh, that's what always happens, right?
That's
and then
bad.
it's always something
And then
important,
you're
and then they
like,
come to you and they're like, oh,
now I suck. That
see
was
how it is.
terrible.
When do you start getting left-wingers on to talk to?
I don't know. I mean, it really depends on if I can convince my mom to come on.
Very nice.
You
very
should.
nice.
You should
Yeah.
have her on. That'd be good.
Drea's a lot of fun. We had her on our show for Halloween. Super fun.
She's the best.
Yeah, she's really
Yeah.
cool. I was so stoked. Been
Yeah.
a huge fan of her.
I met her because I was hanging out with Shane and
Yeah.
Nancy at this hotel bar in Austin a few years ago, and we had this great time. And we we ordered pizza to the bar, and they wouldn't let us bring it in, so we're like under the table eating pizza. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, she's really cool. Had a great time talking to her.
Excellent. Guys, before we get started, hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. I got a bunch of announcements I do have to get into. Number one, of course, being that yesterday YouTube did say that chat issues were on their end. So if you are live in the chat right now, it should be fixed. So that should be working. Also, it appears that our Spotify issue has been rectified. If you are listening to this, if you are listening to this after the fact and you are on Spotify, the previous episodes, 1, 2, and 3, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this past week, they should all be available for you to listen to and download now. So thank you guys so much for that. Also, remember, channel memberships are finally open on this channel. And thanks to you guys joining yesterday, we did have a rush of people who joined the channel as members. There is now a Mr. Fluffykins emoticon that you can use to your heart's content in the chat. I don't know what it signifies, but you're going to have to decide for yourself what putting a Mr. Fluffykins in the chat actually means. But that's not up to me. It's like an artist. Once we put it out in the world, it's your job to decide.
You know, Brad, it's been a minute since I've been on. I just want to say one thing before we get started. Save the Gongo.
Yes.
Save the Gongo.
We're working on it. One way you can do that is we've actually got brand new merch on the channel as well, which is something we've had in the works for quite some time right now, guys. I'm going to put this up on camera so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. First things first, if you are one of the members of this channel, if you are one of the longtime listeners of PCC, you know that the one thing you have been striving for since day one is to get Justice for Mocha. You can now do that while drinking coffee because we have a Justice for Mocha mug available on the channel. And yes, it was my idea to turn Mocha into Lady Justice with the blind scales and everything like that. So that is available on the channel. We have other new merch here as well. There's also another one without Lady Justice Mocha. It's literally just Mocha right there. And there's also a Mocha emoticon in there if you want that as well. We have new shirts. We have a new retro shirt right here. In both pink and white. I prefer the white version of this, but that's just me. I'm a guy. I don't wear pink and I don't wear salmon. And then we have the emblem logo in both white and black. I wanted more understated merchandise, like even this shirt right here with the logo on the front and the back. I don't wear stuff with a lot of logos on it. Most of the shirts and the stuff that I wear are all plain tees, so subtle art for logos in my opinion is the best way to go. That stuff is all available on our Teespring. It is up there right now in the description of this video, and I have a feeling that more than a few of you are going to be purchasing the Mocha mug just so that you can laugh at me. I have no doubt.
I think that's probably likely.
Brand new member here on the channel, Drewish AF. Thank you for joining, my friend. Also, somebody did remind me yesterday that you can actually gift memberships to other people, which High Voltage 75 just did. He gifted 10 memberships to other people. So if you want to join the channel, guys, we appreciate it so much. It is what keeps this show going.
Can multiple people gift to the same person?
I don't
like
know how
sending
that part
pizzas
works.
to their house?
That would be good. I mean, it'd be easier to gift a membership than a pizza. I never even understood like how that worked back in the day. I guess the idea is the joke supposed to be when you send a pizza to someone's house that they're expected to pay for it.
I think that's part of the joke, but also it makes them uncomfortable because you're like, I don't want this, you know, and stuff. So
Because like if I was young and I was like, you know, didn't realize you had to pay for it. I was like, if somebody just sent pizzas to my house, I'd have been like, how bad could it be?
I think I've been in that situation before, and we were like, "Can we just buy the pizzas? Because like, are you guys actually hungry?" And it was just like, "Yeah, what the hell? Like, how much is it?"
like
you know,
pizzas
like
show up and you're like, this is the sickest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, how much?
Do anything.
Yeah, like
read
I didn't
my
even
mind.
have to call you.
All right.
All that remains old bass player. She used to have a problem like ordering things on the phone. She would never be able to order pizza and stuff, so we'd always have to go and order it for her.
Wait, they didn't even have an app at that time?
Oh no, this is back in the olden times.
Okay, so it makes that's crazy. That's crazy that would happen back then, though. Like nowadays, you understand it because new generations have never grown up having to call to order pizza.
She was not
So-
Gen Z or anything.
Oh my gosh.
She was a millennial and had anxiety. Wouldn't order the pizza, so we'd have to go and order it.
I'm the opposite.
man.
Like that's the type of phone conversation I like. One that has strict boundaries as to what you're supposed to be doing. It's why I liked working at a gas station. I can interact with people as long as there's like social protocol about what I'm
I
supposed
actually
to be
had
doing.
like the best pizza ordering experience the other day. So me and my son, we were driving to Jersey to my grandma's.
You mean child?
Whatever. Yes, me and the child were driving not to my grandmother's, to his grandmother's, to my mother's house in Jersey. Anyway, we decided we better order pizza on the way so that we could pick it up and like have something to eat when we got there. And I called and we ordered a pizza, and it was like we hadn't seen a menu or anything. It was just like, this one's on the way and the reviews are fine. So we went to it. So we like stopped. I was, order a pizza, mozzarella sticks. Do you have some kind of salad? Yes. What kind of salad? Any salad without meat because it's Lent. Okay, fine. It was like 2 seconds. Perfect ordering.
You said it was in Jersey?
Of course.
So it was a good pizza.
It was a
then.
good pizza.
Yes.
And
A lot of people in the chat won't realize that there is a place where you like there's an area where you get the best pizza, and it's Southern Connecticut, New York, New Jersey area.
Oh, that is correct. Yes. And this was, we're driving up through South Jersey. We hit the shore because she lives out by the shore. Anyway, the child says, he says, "Mom, that was the best customer service experience I've had in a very long time."
That's amazing.
That's the whole child thing that's rubbed off on me. My kid all the time. What do you want, child?
Yes, it's good.
Take the child.
What
child,
would you like, child?
All the time.
Yes. But now he calls me mother.
Mother.
Also,
Mother,
guys,
what are we having for dinner, mother?
I do want to point out before we move on, guys, that this logo here, it does bear a striking resemblance to the SIG logo, but do not worry, nothing about this shirt. Will
I was gonna say
accidentally
that's
shoot you.
totally SIG.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of logos that are kind of in the same vein as that, but this one will not shoot you accidentally, no matter what you do. So
No
don't worry
appendix
about that.
Don't appendix carry the new logo.
I mean, you shouldn't even be like small of back carrying one. It's going to shoot you in the
Fair enough.
in the rear.
It should have had like Alec Baldwin on the back or something. It was like,
We got to get Jessica on this right now.
yeah, totally.
Oh my gosh, thank you for that. Gonna have to hit up Jessica after the show. She's gonna love that. Guys, what are we talking about today? We do have a bunch of stuff to get into. Number one, of course, being that the protest did continue for Scream 7, which is having its premiere this weekend. I also want to talk a little bit, and you'll have to bear with me as we get into it. I want to talk about Neve Campbell initially walking away from the franchise when they wouldn't give her the money that she wanted for Scream 6, which I think is admirable because she was not blaming everybody for the fact that they wouldn't give her money. She knew what she was worth. She walked away. And then when Melissa Barrera got fired for liking Palestine, she knew that she had all the leverage in the world, and she came back. So we will get into that. We are also going to talk about what is going on with Spider-Man, because it looks like Sony executives have bent the knee to China, who has asked that the Statue of Liberty not show up in the movies. Oddly enough, they tried to do the same thing with No Way Home, which of course they could not oblige by because the whole final scene of the movie took place on top of the Statue of frickin' Liberty. but they're not putting it in the new movie Brand New Day, which, of course, if it's taking place in New York, if you're going to tell me that there isn't going to be a single establishing shot from a helicopter of the Statue of Liberty, I don't buy that that's a sacrifice that they were willing to make unless that there was a benefit.
Yeah, I make this point on X a lot, and this actually just verifies and adds credibility to my argument. China is an adversary.
There you go.
If they don't want to see the Statue of Liberty in a Spider-Man movie, that only proves that they are your enemy.
China is ass-ho.
Yeah.
China is ass-ho.
We will get into that. We're going to have like a little bit of a... There was an article written. It was a think piece about the men's hockey team, and it was a feminist writer, I have to assume. A feminist writer basically saying that Team USA men's hockey didn't live up to the cultural moment that they were in. Of course, they were drawing this comparison because the women's Olympic teams have done great work for America as well. They won a ton of gold medals this year, but it all goes back to this phone call between Trump and the team and Kash Patel partying in their locker room. And maybe we just have a more general discussion about how, in the most boring and depressing way possible, the Olympics have become proxy wars for political debate, which I frankly find to be an insult to physical achievement. But we'll get into that. Also, we're going to talk about how Disney is screwed and how all of the executives know that nobody cares about Mandalorian and Grogu the movie, and they're very worried that it's going to underperform because their Super Bowl ad fell completely flat and nobody cared. So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. If everybody is ready, we will go. Brandon, are you ready?
Let's go.
Phil?
Let's go.
Libby?
Yes, I am all set.
Let's go for it then. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Scream 7. Oh, no. Thank you, Corey, for the 20 right there before we get started. I can do this, and then we can get into it. Corey says, Phil, that was the longest trip for milk and cigarettes ever. We missed you. Is the All That Remains tour playing Baltimore or D.C.? I am excited for this tour. Let's go. Also, there are a lot of blue hairs in the 3-letter agencies I'm at.
Yes, there is a show on May 2nd in Baltimore at Nevermore Hall. And it actually wasn't the longest trip for cigarettes and milk. There are stories of literal eternal trips for cigarettes. You go to get the cigarettes.
They
and
never come back.
Never come back.
All right.
I was always going to be.
Is that the old lottery ticket dad move? Yeah.
Hey, when that happens,
Got to go get some scratch offs. Got to get some scratch offs.
See
All
you,
right.
Dad.
Guys, let's talk about Scream 7. So, Scream 7 is coming out this weekend. It's looking to make between $44 to $50 million at the box office, which is high for the franchise. It's going to be, theoretically, if it hits the higher end of the low estimate, it will be higher than Scream 6. And the thing about that is it's already showing low on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, whether you care about what critics think or not. It's got a 43% on Rotten Tomatoes. And there were protesters showing up outside of the debut of the movie, of the premiere, because they were protesting because Melissa Barrera was fired from Scream 7 because of her comments about Palestine, which led the producers of the film to drop her. And all of that is kind of just the backdrop of what I want to talk about. I've made plenty of videos on the protesters. I, for one, am not a boycotter of I don't really boycott anything. There are things that I just don't engage with, but I don't engage with boycotts for the most part. But I want to talk about Neve Campbell, because the thing about Neve Campbell is she should be seen, in a way, as a bit of what I would call the blueprint for how actors should behave when they do not get what they want from these studios. Because the general inclination from the average Hollywood celebrity, when they don't get what they want from the studios, when they don't get what they want creatively, or they don't get what they want financially, is to blame racism, sexism, homophobia, the studios, not understanding artists, all of these things. But Neve Campbell did something that nobody else seemed to be doing in these spaces, where she simply said, look, I wanted a certain amount for Scream 7, or Scream 6, I should say. They weren't willing to give it to me. And as hard as that was, given the fact that it was her franchise going all the way back to the the mid-90s, like 95, I think Scream 1 came out, she walked away. Mm-hmm. And that's an important distinction to make, because most people would rather go online after the fact and complain about the fact that they didn't get what they want, rather than just simply understanding that she works in a business, which means business stuff happens. This was her quote. She says, when I made that decision, I just didn't think that I could live with myself walking on set. I just didn't feel right. I just knew that my value to this franchise was bigger than what had been offered to me, and it was a choice I needed to make. She added, when I said goodbye to it, I thought that was it. I knew that there was a good chance that would be it. She explained that it was tough knowing that the Scream 6 Productions team had, kicked things back off again, having their first day of shooting, and I wasn't there. But here's the thing. She came back, and the crazy thing is, from what I heard, the payday is like $7 million, which is like $2 million more than what Michael Keaton got for Batman in 1988 when it went into production, maybe even 87. So, $7 million 2026 bucks isn't even close to the same thing as $5 million in 1989 bucks.
Right.
But she is worth a lot of money to this franchise because her name is synonymous with it. Does this strike you as something? Because I made a video the other day about how actor Stephen Amell, and he'll kind of come up again when we get into my Baywatch thing piece after this. You'll love that. Where he did a show called Suits LA, and it failed. And he made the distinction to say, it was my fault. It was my fault as the lead actor, as the name on the marquee. If this show didn't resonate with people, it's my responsibility to make sure that it does. What we see in Hollywood most of the time, and if you go watch my video on it, I came up with at least 7 examples of creatives saying the audience didn't understand what we were making, the creatives didn't feel that the studios gave them enough free will. It's always somebody else's fault. So somebody taking ownership of their actions is a rarity in Hollywood, and that's exactly what Neve Campbell was doing here. She was not blaming other people. She was not saying that the studios were big meanie heads who didn't like women. She just walked away and came back when the getting was good, when they offered her more money.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. If you don't want to take a job, don't take a job.
Yeah.
That's for all of us, right? I mean, Robert Duvall didn't take Godfather 3. He'd been essential to the first 2. He decided he didn't want the money that was being offered, and so he didn't take it. He couldn't work out the contract, so he didn't take it. Like, would Godfather 3 been better with Bobby Duvall in it? Probably. But that's not really Duvall's problem. I mean, certainly there's jobs that I wouldn't take for just whatever money is being offered. Like, why should anyone do that just because,
Well, I mean, I guess if you're one of those like starving actors, for whatever reason, your career is grinded to maybe almost a halt. You haven't been able to find work in Hollywood. It's like the Johnny Drama story from Entourage. He's having a hard time finding work. Finally gets this show called Five Towns, and it does better, and it's doing better, and it's doing better. Then he becomes a hit, and he's blowing up again. I can see that for the hungry actor, like, okay, the hell with this. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna take this because I really need something. But it does lower your value in Hollywood, accepting something that you're not worth.
Well, the thing is, this similar thing happened to Robert Downey Jr. when he came back to Marvel. He didn't make a ton of money when he came to Marvel. He didn't make a ton of money on the first Iron Man because his name had been kind of destroyed because of his actions in the past. Like, nobody would touch him. The insurance on that movie had to be financed by somebody else because no studio wanted to pay for an actor who they felt was a risk and wasn't going to show up to set or wasn't going to deliver on the project. And I want to see more actors take. I was trying to explain in the video, and I don't think I did a very good job. I suppose that's my own problem. Where I said, like, I can't explain to you how much it matters to build goodwill with an audience, especially if you're somebody who comes back to a franchise. Yeah. So if the idea here is that if she had complained and said that I think it was Spyglass that produced the movie. Somebody in the chat can correct me, if they can ding me on this if I'm wrong, but if she had said, it was sexist of them to do that for whatever reason, I don't think that argument would have ever held water because it was women that took over the roles, given that Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega were the ones that went on to be the most prominent in those roles after that. But still, it is very common for them to fall on gender, racial, or some type of line when they want to explain why their projects didn't work out.
So you're saying it's good that if she was going to decline the role, she declined it by saying, I want more money than that, and they're not giving it to me, as opposed to adding some sort of grievance to it.
Because you can't prove it anyways.
That makes sense.
And people, but I also think artists do this to themselves because they want to pretend like what they're doing, it's nothing but avant-garde art. But it's not. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. And they love it when the studios give them the money to work on the projects, but they never want to accept that there are guardrails that have to be put in place because it's not your money that you're spending. I did a video, in fact, I think you actually reposted it. I was actually surprised about Jennifer Esposito, who funded her own movie herself, and now she had to sell her house. And I said, yeah, she understands the risk that comes from, you know, putting your own money into it and then finding out that maybe people don't resonate with what you've made.
Well, I used to do theater, and I would rent a theater space and put on like a show and bring in actors, and some of them would do it for free because they liked the project and they were hungry actors and whatever. And I have, on more than one occasion during that time, not paid my rent on my apartment so that I could pay my rent on the theater space.
And that's paying your dues.
And, you know, I ended up in housing court. You know.
When did this happen?
This was, you know, like in the 90s.
Okay.
Like, no, it wasn't. It was in the 2000s, probably, the early 2000s. But, like, that's what's going to happen. You don't make your money back on theater for the most part. And I would always run my budget so that I would have it be, because my company wasn't not-for-profit, because I don't like taking money like that. And also that's a pain in the ass. And if you don't have rich parents who are going to give you money, then there's no point in starting a not-for-profit for them and their friends to have
a not-for-profit.
I don't know.
So I remember somebody telling me that.
So I did. So we would do shows. We would pay rent on the theater space. We would not pay rent on the apartment. I'd go over a budget, you know, base it on ticket sales. And like, we did okay. We finally figured out like a much more sustainable model so that we didn't have to like, not pay rent on the apartment. But that's what you do. You put all your money in, you give it a shot, you see what happens, you bet on yourself, and sometimes it doesn't work out. My grandfather told me that like my grandfather ended up doing very well for himself, but he said that he had lost more money than he ever made. Yeah. And he made plenty of money, you know, like he left money to me and the child when he passed.
Call back.
This is what happens. But like you bet on yourself.
I just feel like most of the time people don't understand how off-putting it is. Like a normal everyday person doesn't understand how off-putting it is when somebody makes some type of complaint about, you know, why their project didn't work out or why they didn't get what they wanted from it, because they're never going to be held, like they're never going to be allowed to say that about their job. Like if you don't deliver at your job, your boss has the ability to fire you. So why should you be able to make a movie, have it lose money, and then complain when you don't get what you want the next time around? It's like how Hollywood fails upwards. So many directors are failing upwards. There was a rumor going around last week that they were going to get Chloe Zhao to do the next Mission Impossible movie, and I said, why? Eternals failed, and everything else she's made has been quarter the budget of something like that. What is in her resume that would actually indicate to someone? Now I understand that I'm not a Hollywood insider. I'm not privy to those discussions, but if you're looking on paper and you have to think of it as the financiers are the ones who are looking at it more from my perspective. They're looking at it from purely a financial risk-verse return on reward investment. They're going to have to be sold on that idea by Tom Cruise or whoever's going to be asking for the additional funding.
Tom Cruise always does well.
Help me, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, like Tom Cruise always. What I don't understand is why they keep giving J.J. Abrams movies, even though he ruins every single franchise.
He's better
because he's really good at doing stuff with bright lights.
Yeah, but then he goes and like blows up Vulcan like a fool, you know? Still stupid.
Yeah, Vulcan kind of had it coming.
Those are called lens flares. It's not lights, they're lens flares.
Yeah, it is lens flares.
We've got a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. Says, I'm hoping that Campbell dealing honestly with the pay issue will encourage other actors to handle similar issues in the same way in the future. Better than having the PR people do the mealy mouth tap dancing. Yes, I agree on all of that. And I think that the fact that Neve Campbell has been around for as long as she has and has remained successful in Hollywood, given that she's been in the industry well over, I guess, 3 decades now.
3 decades.
That's a lot of work, and it offers a lot of perspective. And for the record, it looks like, these are of course just rumors, but Scream 8 is supposedly still already in the works, given the opening box office looking to be as good as it is for Scream 7. I also saw, and you can go find the clip online, basically some of the interviewers were doing their jobs on the red carpet, and they asked Kevin Williamson, you know, what do you think of the protesters outside? Because they're asking him basically directly, like, what do you think of these people who think that you're firing Melissa Barrera as a knock against Palestine? And he just basically said, you know, it's America and you're free to go outside and protest. It cost him $500,000 to rewrite the script, which in Hollywood standards isn't actually,
it's not that much
for a rewrite for a major like big budget Hollywood. I guess big budget for a horror movie is different than blockbuster budget, but you get my point, which is that that's not a whole lot. Like, they did that pretty minimally, and we'll have to wait and see if that hurts the box office, because the opening Rotten Tomatoes score is low at just 43% from critics, but also nobody really cares what critics think anymore.
Nope.
So it'll be more about whether the audience gives good word of mouth to the people involved. All right, let's talk about Mark Ruffalo, ladies and gentlemen. So Mark Ruffalo is one of those actors who, I think I said the other day, I said, I have superhuman abilities to separate art from artist. I can watch anything with somebody with the worst political opinions you've ever heard. There's maybe one actor that kind of rubs me the wrong way, and that is Mark Ruffalo, but that's just in general. I'm not a huge fan of his performance.
Does he ruffalo your feathers? Is that what? Yeah.
Oh,
It's absolutely
man.
true. He does.
That's really bad.
But now you have to look at what he's saying here. Mark Ruffalo is using his star power against Donald Trump to push for a wealth tax working people shouldn't pay for billionaires. We're going to listen to the clip here, and you're going to laugh when you hear this. So let's play this for you guys here. All right.
New York rent is crushing people. Childcare now costs over $20,000 a year on average. All while Trump's policies keep making billionaires richer, while working families endure cuts to essential services. So last year, over 1 million New Yorkers came together to vote for Mayor Mamdani's affordability agenda. So who's getting in the way? Governor Kathy Hochul has a choice to make. You protect working families and tax the rich, or make Trump's cuts worse by forcing everyday people to pay more. 60% of New Yorkers, like me, agree that we should tax billionaires and corporations to fund childcare, housing, and transit. Working people shouldn't be the ones always stuck with the bill.
What you have to understand, guys, is he considers himself one of those working people. There's a reason why, and I've been sounding the alarm on this for several years now, they have turned the word billionaire with a B into a slur that is used on movies and television to other another class of people. I just started watching season 2 of Paradise, and the character of Sinatra, which is fantastic in the show, she's just unbelievably unlikable in season 1, and they're trying to make her a more likable character in season 2 after what happened to her. She's a very rich individual, and they refer to her with the capital B. They don't call her wealthy, they don't call her an elite, they call her a billionaire, because they want to separate themselves. Notice how he said they can take it. Tax the corporations, tax the billionaires, they can take it. From what I understand, Mark Ruffalo's net worth is anywhere between 35 to 40 million. You can take that with a grain of sand. It doesn't really matter anyways, because those estimates tend to be off in a lot of ways. But he's had paydays that range from anywhere from like 6 million for Thor Ragnarok all the way up to 15 million for the last 2 Avengers movies. And the point is, he wants you to see him as one of you guys, as one of us,
as middle class,
as middle class.
He's trying to slip under that wake of class barrier there. And yeah, I can definitely tell you, from what I've seen the last couple of years, they have tried to turn the word billionaire into like a derogatory term. Like, it's like a dirty word to say now. These billionaires. If you're a multimillionaire, let alone tens of millions of dollars, you are still in that upper class of wealth. And that's not going to change, my friends. I'm sorry. Even if the economy crashes, like, I don't know what to tell you, you're still a multimillionaire. So
even if you're making, like, I mean, even if you're making 150 grand, you're in the top 10%. Yeah. Even still.
But here's the thing about these. First of all, there's nothing wrong with being a rich man, right?
No, not at all.
I aspire to be one myself someday, but there's nothing wrong with being rich, right? That's like whatever. But what Ruffalo and the rest of the people who are demanding Kathy Hochul capitulate to the extortion demands of Mayor Mamdani are doing is they are saying that they only care about the people in New York. They only care about the working class in New York, that they get their fair share. Because what Mamdani has done is said that Albany needs to deliver a lot more money to the city. And where's Albany going to get that money? They could get it by raising the taxes on people in New York City. But the state raises taxes across the board, right? I mean, when you live in New York City, you pay city income tax, you pay state income tax, you pay federal income tax, right? Then it's different for everybody, whatever it is. But he wants the rest of the state to pay for the social programs of New York City. The rest of the state is not going to get those programs.
Nope.
The rest of the state is not going to get their 2K or whatever, like the preschool for 2-year-olds, the free daycare, the grocery stores, the city-run grocery stores, the free buses. Buffalo's not going to get that. Syracuse isn't going to get it. Oswego isn't going to get it, right? Ithaca, you're not going to get it. The Hudson Valley isn't going to get any of that stuff. They just want it for the people of New York City. Now, I love New York City. New York City is it's the most beautiful place I've ever seen on this earth. It's my favorite place. I love, aside from around here.
Aside from the piles of dog shit on the whole city.
Street level New York City does not qualify for what I would consider
There
beautiful.
are literally speckly sparkles in the sidewalk. Just gonna put that out there.
I think that's feces.
It's not. It's just not. But anyways,
Have you been to
my
Hawaii?
point
Have you
is-
been to Hawaii? I'm sorry, I'm going to drill down on this a bit. Go ahead.
No,
I'm
but
sorry.
I've been to Italy.
I've been to Italy too.
Right, it's pretty.
It's all right.
Not New York City. Anyways, the point is that these guys have myopia when they look at the city and they say, New York City is the only place in the state that should get any of this stuff. And what's going to happen if Hochul doesn't capitulate is Mark Ruffalo's property taxes are going to go up.
That's what's happening in Illinois. It's the
that's
same
what's
situation in Illinois. They impose a lot of taxes based off of what's going on in Chicago.
Right.
And Illinois is a massive, massive state. It takes you 5 to 7 hours to drive straight through the bottom of it. They're being taxed for things that are going on in Chicago a lot of the time, and taxes are constantly being raised. They want to tax people per mile driven out there.
That's
what they want to do that in. They're planning to do that in the UK. First, they took your gas cars. Now they say that they're going to charge you like 3 pence for every kilometer.
And it's up to you to
driven.
track all of that shit. So it's crazy to me that they're doing this, but at the same time, they're creating tax breaks for new data centers and saying, hey, you know what? You can come here, you can build your data center in this place, massive data center, draw all the power that you want. We're going to put a clause in place that says that you can't be charged for the amount of electricity that you're doing, and it falls on the back of the Illinois taxpayer, which is why Illinois taxpayers right now are seeing their energy bills going through the roof, and they're like, what the hell is going on with ComEd? What's going on with ComEd? It's not ComEd. It's these data centers that are moving in the middle of the night under your noses.
Our electric bill here is insane.
Really?
Like, at least in the winter, I don't know what it was like $400 last month.
Oh, but
Are you anywhere near Frederick?
isn't there baseboard heating? You mean here? No,
No, at home, like where I live.
Yeah, where he
do you have,
lives.
like,
Are you anywhere
electric
near Frederick? Because they
heating?
just built a data center there.
Like 20. I mean, this happened last year too. It
Last
would've
year?
been, yeah. Like it's just.
Yep.
For some reason, we're back in Minnesota. Like our energy bill would always be a lot higher because you had like an air unit, in the window that would drive up your energy bill in the summer. Here we use the air unit in our apartment all summer, and the bill is not super bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. But in the winter, we don't even turn the heat up that high. I'm already preparing to be a dad one day by no, it can't be that hot in here. We can't be that cold in here. We need to leave it right there, and it's crazy. And the other thing about Mark Ruffalo is, and I do want to point out that this is just the type of hypocrisy that I hate the most, which is that he's part of an industry that literally lives and dies on government subsidies. So California has decimated their entire industry because they cut all their tax incentives, and they're just now, and we're going to be getting into this in the next segment, they're just now trying to climb back from the brink of extinction by offering more tax credits, but it was like 5 years too late. They've already offshored all of their productions. So when he's talking about that, who does he want them to tax the rich for his programs to make his movies plausible?
I don't know.
It's like the least, not that and I've had this conversation with people before. I think art is essential to a thriving society. I believe you build functioning societies so that you can enjoy things like art, but it's not necessary for society. It's not something government should be subsidizing. No? You look like you were giving me a face there for a second.
That was because my coffee was cold. Don't confuse it. I was like, oh, it's getting so much worse.
Yep.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of different ways to subsidize art, right? You have the tax breaks for art companies that are doing stuff in your area. and you can give them sort of deductions so that they create jobs where you
And
are.
it's a
And
bit
that's
different
pretty standard.
In the movie industry, it's like it creates a lot of below the line jobs for people that are not
Sure.
necessarily
Direct
they're not the
cash
actors.
injections
But
right
that
into
they-
all that remains bank account.
Right.
go.
But they do that for all kinds of industries. They, an industry comes in and they give them a tax break so that they build their center there. That's what Amazon warehouse negotiating with states is all about, trying to like get the best
It's
deal.
alluring. Come here.
Sure.
Come
and
here
like,
instead.
I think cities and states and countries certainly have the right to do that because you have to create jobs, right?
Well, that's the point. Is Gavin Newsom? He cut that ability for them for a period of time,
But like
which
he's
trying
terrible.
to get back. Yes.
He's absolutely terrible. Everything about him is bad, including his smarmy haircut and the weird way that he crosses his legs in a pretzel shape. He's terrible. But in terms of the government just directly funding art, I think there's something to be said for a government taking tax dollars and making beautiful things, right? The Colosseum was funded by the government. The Louvre was funded by the government. The Metropolitan Museum of Art gets government money every single year. And I think that it's worth having these majestic pieces of architecture and public art out there. The problem I have is with the curatorial process.
Meaning that
of
the art
public
that's being made is not good.
It's total crap.
Also, do you think, and you can address that too, do you think that it matters more that it's at the state level rather than federal? Like it should be a state issue rather than a federal issue?
Well, I think the state should probably fund some public art, and I think that the federal government should fund some public art. I mean, it's not all the same. The federal government funds national parks. These are absolutely beautiful and essential things that they do, and I think they should do that.
Yeah.
I think the city should fund city parks. I think the state should fund state parks.
Historically, with states that have like historical art, like things that have happened, like we have like battlegrounds and stuff all over the place out here, right? From back from Civil War days, stuff like that. I feel like could be federal funding too, just because of the historical value. But I think the state should really be going all in on preserving that sort of a thing too, because it's your state culture, right? Like these are things that happen in the state that you're from, and I think to like really preserve the shit that's good, that needs to stick around, that you want to have for another 100, 200 years, should really they should be going out of their way to try to make sure that they can maintain that stuff.
When you look at a state like New York versus a state like West Virginia, there are less people in West Virginia than there are in Brooklyn, right? Just Brooklyn. The state has a lot less money.
Yeah.
There's in Brooklyn, there are state parks, city parks, and federal parks, national parks in Brooklyn itself. And the state puts money in, the federal government puts money in. But I think that there are some things that are of value enough to the entire country that regardless of where it is that they're located, what state they're in, they should get federal funding. I think the Civil War parks in West Virginia are some of those parks. I think some of the parks, like Statue of Liberty gets federal money, and I think
I
a
guess
lot
I don't
of these
think of that
things
as art.
should.
I think of that as like a monument or something that's more historical.
Well, what about Mount Rushmore? That's a cross between the two. And that's got to be a national park.
I've heard
right?
it's not as impressive in person. Is that like a thing? Has anyone actually been there?
I've been there.
Because I heard it was just like a
Were you let
massive,
down?
massive letdown.
It's not a massive letdown. It's a little further than you think, like where you're actually like the viewing area. It's a little further away. And one of the things that I noticed is like, so there's the heads on the the mountain and stuff, and then underneath, like all of the rocks that they chipped
chiseled
away,
out of it,
they're still all kind of just there, and nothing's grown up around. It's just like a pile of rubble. I wouldn't say that it's not impressive. But it definitely leaves you thinking, oh, wow, I didn't think it would look like this.
Yeah.
It's kind of the vibe that
Like,
you
does
get,
it, like, I guess it kind of, I was given the vibe that, like, it was just this massive, majestic carving in the side of a mountain. And then when you got there, it was almost just like, oh, that's, like, really not that big at all.
Yeah.
And yeah,
like
the
I said,
craftsmanship, obviously,
The distance, all the pictures you see are very close. People zoom in. You get just the faces. It looks massive. To look at it from, the observation area, it's pretty far away.
You're just kind of like, oh, that's
and
it.
You're like, oh, that actually doesn't look as big.
The other thing about it is he denigrates the billionaire class, but much of what you guys are talking about, I think I saw somebody in the chat mention this as well, whether it's the museums or it's historical landmarks or hospitals have whole wings built by billionaires who fund a lot of this stuff. And ostensibly what you're asking them to do is you're saying, look, you also contribute large amounts of your own money, which is also far more condensed. You know, it's your money, not pulled from millions of citizens. You're giving them every reason to leave and no reason to stay. When if even the millionaire tells the billionaire, you're not worth it here unless you're a cash cow for us, you're just asking them to leave. And they're still considering that in California. They're still considering a wealth tax that could end up driving out all of the billionaires.
Right.
I mean, more than that have already left.
That's a state where some cities have opted for reparations for black people, which I think Illinois just... Evanston, I think, just put through a cash reparations plan.
Evanston, of all places.
Which is
right?
ridiculous.
Which is so stupid. It's like, how Evanston? Yeah. But no, I think I think people underestimate also how much funding a lot of billionaires put in. And I'm not saying like billionaires shouldn't pay money or whatever for taxes, which of course they should. But like, I'm not out here starting businesses and hiring a bunch of people. Yeah. You know, I'm like just making my job. That's
but the whole idea behind like, oh, I'll take my money somewhere else then is still very much alive with these people. And, you know, that was one of the things that we were predicting with the Mamdani election was that a lot of money was going to leave New York because they were just going to say to hell with this. Now, I don't know in terms of migrations what we've seen out of that yet and as far as the numbers go, but I think it's a very real thing that these guys, the second that they're just fed up with this shit, hey, it's not going to be that hard for this guy to relocate. He's got a couple $1 billion.
And also,
you know,
I mean,
like,
you can always just go to Jersey, which also has great pizza, and you're still in proximity to the city.
And there's always going to be another state or a governor that's like, yeah, come here. We'll do this for you. Just get the hell out of there and come here. Like, we want that here.
Right.
And, you know, like, there's always going to be those background deals.
This is back to the Mount Rushmore stuff. I sent all you guys a picture of Mount Rushmore from the observation.
I'll take a look. Got a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. It says, I lived through the period when Florida tried to become Hollywood East using... Is that why? Because I know there's an actual Hollywood, Florida. Like, is that where that comes from?
I don't know.
There's an actual
I think
Hollywood,
there's
Florida.
mostly just golf there.
It says they were using subsidies. The effort died when a new Orlando mayor didn't like the morals of the evil Hollywood people. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's an industry, and like I said, if you're gonna live and die on the subsidies from the government, then he should be willing to give more of his money directly. I think Mark Ruffalo should donate directly because he's got plenty to give. It's like when people talk about how you should pay your fair share. There's nothing stopping you from giving the IRS more money than you already have.
Well, the idea, just the whole framing of that people should pay their fair share, they imply that, you know, wealthy people aren't paying it, right? And
the data doesn't bear that out.
Wealthy people pay all of the taxes.
That's correct.
The bottom 50% of America, if you make...
You get all your money back.
Yeah, if you make below the median or lower, or if you make the median and lower, you don't pay any taxes. Right?
Yeah, like, you get all your money back in your tax return.
That's the long and short of it. So these people that are saying the wealthy need to pay their fair share, none of them are paying taxes. None of them are, because people that are making, you know, people that are middle class, kind of, they're not like, oh, you know, I'm not, you know, they don't hate the wealthy. The people that end up hating the wealthy are people that are poor, people that feel like the reason they're poor is someone else. And I tell you what, I'm going to say this, and this is very, very unpopular to say. Most poor people are poor because of bad decisions. Not all of them. There are people that fall in hard times and stuff, but most people that are poor they're poor because they cannot manage money properly. If you are really, really good at managing your money, you don't stay poor. You end up with something. People that are poor because they make bad decisions. Get mad at me in the chat. I don't care. This is the truth. So the people that are poor blame other people, blame rich people for them being poor when really it's their own fault usually.
Yeah, I would say that not every rich person was a genius with a brilliant idea who made all their money themselves.
Sure.
But I would say that many poor people, yes, it's that they haven't done it.
There you go. And we are a little less poor.
Yes, just a little bit. Thank you, guys. Brandon at least dances. We appreciate that. All right, let's move on. Okay, guys, this is, you're going to have to bear with me on this one, because I threw this one in at the last minute, and it's because I got a huge kick out of this post it was from Variety, but basically what we're going to talk about right now, guys, actually, you know what, I'm going to wait for the lights to cut down. Yeah, hold on. Don't you dare.
Second one, huh?
No.
Just double up.
It's just screwed up. You guys got like a half of a crisis party there. Thank you. All right, let's talk about Baywatch. If you think that's weird to hear in the year 2026, you're not wrong. It is
been
weird.
a minute.
It has been a minute. We are going to talk about the Baywatch revival that they are bringing up, and it is a revival. It's a continuation of the story.
Is it going to be on Broadway? Because I think that would be a good musical.
That would be a very unique one to make for Broadway. No, this
I
is
think it
going
would be
to
great.
This
Just
is going to be a Fox show.
trucking in sand right down down straight into
Well,
New York.
there's paint. You know, do a little.
Yeah, but then it's not.
You have to teach them
Think
the
of the
magic
musical
of musicals. All right, guys, this is what's going on. They are reviving Baywatch, and there was an interview that they did where they talked to a bunch of people on the set of the new production as they started all of the casting process. They've already got their leads. Stephen Amell, he was Green Arrow. He was Oliver Queen in Arrow. And this is what I thought was very, very funny about it. So over 2,000 actors traveled to Los Angeles to audition for the show. 14,000 people submitted reels and headshots. They got 45 seconds to deliver lines. And this is the best part. Matt Nix, who is the creator and the showrunner, he did Burn Notice, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. He said that it's not going to be campy. What they're going to do is try to make the Top Gun Maverick of Baywatch. And my first inclination was to laugh, because I think that is on its face an absolutely absurd observation to make. But the more he talked about it, the more I kind of got behind what he's saying. He understands that Baywatch, whatever you think of the show, if the first thing that comes to your mind is David Hasselhoff, or if the first thing that comes to your mind is Pamela Anderson's titties, or something like that, it was an American institution. It played a huge part of American pop culture for a very, very long time. From what I discovered from a basic amount of research, in 1996, at the height of its popularity, 1 billion viewers a week with a B. That is a crap ton of people watching your show, and it has had long-lasting implications for America for a long time. So I want to know, is this where we could find the cultural touching point? Like, this is a touchstone for Hollywood where they can decide which direction they want to go. Okay, first things first, they were going to move this overseas. They were going to film Baywatch about a town in California in Australia. But they got tax cuts because, like we were talking about earlier, Gavin Newsom has implemented a bunch of new tax incentives for Hollywood productions. So they've got two turning points here that they can go down. Do they film in America? Looks like they have. The other thing they have to do is they have to cast the most absurdly handsome men and beautiful women they can possibly find. There can be no fatties in this show. I'm sorry, not one. If you want somebody's mom to be fat, that's fine. But nobody who's working on that beach should look anything less than a bodybuilder or a supermodel. That's just my contention. And this is where Hollywood decides what matters. Do we go the inclusion route and have, like, I don't know, Melissa McCarthy, like, jogging down the beach?
But she can't save your life if you're drowning in the Pacific Ocean.
And I said, so my point that I was making, I said, this isn't biased against fat people. No. There should be no skinny people either. Like, the no guy.
You've got to be fit enough to rescue people.
Yes, correct.
Not get swept away by the tide.
Well, that's nobody can do that.
80 pounds soaking wet,
Right.
and you're going in after another
still,
able body.
I mean,
I don't care if you got a buoy or not.
The tide took out Malcolm Jamal
You're gonna
Warner.
drown
He
too.
was in good shape.
So
ouch.
It says, for many, Baywatch 2 marks more than just a reboot, but rather a bold bet on Los Angeles, which has yet to fully recover from COVID. Strikes and, well, they also include strikes and fires. That's the other thing. By the way, guys, totally is going to possibly be another strike this year. Writers, possibly striking again. Actors, possibly striking again.
Nobody
Directors,
cares.
possibly
Whatever
striking
will
again.
we do without
Nobody
them?
cares.
I mean, it's my job. I care.
I mean, yeah.
I care.
Obviously.
Like, talking about the strikes gets boring eventually.
But they do strike. They're striking themselves out of usefulness.
So it says previous attempts to revive Baywatch were said to be shot in either South Africa or Australia. Imagine how messed up your local government must be if it's cheaper to film in South Africa than it is to just go down to the freaking beach.
I mean, the security alone, in South Africa.
It says,
and the sharks in Australia. That's problems.
Well, then they can do a storyline where like Stephen Amell punches a shark.
Yeah, or
Right.
rescues a drowning lion.
I mean, you could do that with a soundstage anyway, but yeah.
So they said LA has been punched really hard, says the guy is the actor who played Cody Madison in the reboot. This is like putting the paddles on the city, you know, like the defib. So they're basically talking about reviving California through this series. As far as the tone of the new series, Matt Nix insists that the reboot is not campy. We never make fun of the original. Okay, that's an important part as well. One of Hollywood's most prominent tropes is to look back at something that was unbelievably successful and laugh at it and point out all of the ways in which it's problematic now.
Like the Brady Bunch.
Yes, there you go. It says he brings up Top Gun Maverick as a guiding light for how to honor the nostalgic IP with big-hearted blockbuster vision. It is getting cold and windy in the late afternoon as 20 casting directors cycle through auditions. Literally, they were just like pumping people in through the cycles to find the people that are right for the show. But I would like to see something like this show that Hollywood understands what their assignment is, that they have something important that they have to do. You can laugh about Baywatch. You can laugh about the absurdity of it and its popularity, but it's like when you talk about Playboy now. You can look down on what it was, but you cannot deny the impact that it had on American culture for a very, very long time. So I guess the question is this the type of thing to you guys? Am I making too much out of this? That the casting has to literally be perfect for something like this to be successful?
No, I think you're spot on. I think if you don't pull in the right cast for this, no one's going to give a shit. And even with the right cast, just with the way that things are now, generationally, like if it could be absolutely perfect. It could be 100% perfect from front to back with casting, and the show could still fail.
Well, and then people could be like, it's problematic because it denigrates women. It shows them in a highly...
If it doesn't denigrate women, it's not Baywatch.
Exactly. That's the point.
Yep.
But the thing is, the men too, right? It's
and
like,
actually, no, not to say denigrate if it doesn't objectify.
Yes, objectify.
Those are two very different things.
Yeah, denigrating is overstating.
And yeah, the times were different back then when this show was popular, getting these massive amounts of views. There was less stuff on TV to watch. There was, less blockbuster movies. We weren't able to go on social media every day and just scroll through all kinds of similar videos. Like that was like one of those things where like surfing was huge back then. California culture was huge back then. No matter where they were filming, it was cool to watch that show, even if you absolutely hated it. It
is true that there was like a mystique. You grew up skating too, so you understand. Like if you grew up skating, especially in the Midwest or any place with seasons, you understood the allure of California, and it was pretty much everybody who skated's dream to move to California one day where they could do it 24
I want to
hours
surf
a day, 7 days a week.
I want to try surfing someday.
Yeah.
Like holy shit, I don't think I could do it, but I bet you I could.
Yeah.
But these guys, you got these shots of these guys surfing all this stuff, and then hey, cool, emergency, let's show a rescue. But really, I was watching that show for like the action shots. And the cooler stuff at the beach.
The bloom is off the rose for California for most people. And some people might even say New
I
York.
don't know. California is great.
California is so awesome. Like when it comes to like
weather,
like being there. Like, well, not just
food,
the weather.
really
it's
good
beautiful,
food.
and it takes advantage of people. Like the government takes advantage of that and treats the citizenry like absolute trash because of it.
Yeah, it does.
Like it's literally abuse, right? And people deal with it because California is absolutely beautiful. It is wonderful.
Isn't it like one of the only places where you could go like skiing in the morning and surfing in the afternoon?
Yeah, I was in
a
couple of years back when we were doing Anti-Fragile. I was in Lakewood in January. Maybe it was February. But like I'm standing there in 70 degrees, whatever. It's beautiful at 72, something like that. Perfect. And then you look a couple miles away and you can see the snow-capped mountains, and you know that if you really wanted to, you could drive for 2 hours, hour and a half, whatever, go skiing, and then come back and be on the beach in the evening. It is absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But it like I said, the government treats the citizenry like absolute crap, and it's really remarkable that so many people are leaving California because you have to really abuse your citizenry for them to say it's no longer worth staying.
It's not
here
worth
anymore.
me staying here.
Because I mean, the only place that I think is better when it comes to just like scenery and the climate and temperature stuff, the only place that's better is Hawaii. Like everywhere else in the U.S. is second to California.
But you can't go skiing in Hawaii, can you?
I mean,
No.
you can't. In the summertime, if you're on the Big Island, there's snowstorms on Mauna Kea. They're like the first time I tried to go to the top of Mauna Kea and go to the.
Do they have like a ski place up there?
I don't think so,
Okay.
but Because they don't have anything there because it could burn.
Yeah,
you know,
that makes sense.
they don't. There's not a lot on Mauna Kea,
No.
or I mean on the Big Island, but there's snow there, and it's gorgeous. It's wonderful. I'm not a big skier, anyways. But like I said, the only place that's better than California is Hawaii. Both of them are prohibitively expensive. Hawaii is harder to get to, obviously, so it's a little more drastic. And I love Florida. When we were down there, I was like, man, I would move here in a second. It's gorgeous. It's awesome. I love the weather and stuff. It's still not as nice as California because California is a little more temperate. It's not so humid and stuff. The summertime it gets hot. I spent a summer in the valley when we were doing a record, and man, 110 degrees is perfectly normal. So people that think that it's perfect all the time, it's not, but it's still gorgeous.
It's weird. I think that one of the ways that you can rebuild Hollywood from the ground up is to focus on some of the things that made Hollywood great, which was you could actually make stories that lean into, if not American exceptionalism, how about the exceptional nature of Hawaii and what it was? There was a show that I really liked called Graceland, which not a lot of other people watched. It was made by Jeff Easton. He was the guy who did White Collar, and it was about this house, apparently based on a true story. I'm sure very loosely based on a true story. It's like a house in Southern California, and it's lived in by like 3 separate federal agencies. There's agents from 3 different departments of the U.S. government, and the show kind of gets its entire style and vibe through 8mm interstitial shots of like Long Beach and all of the beaches in California, waves crashing, the large houses that live on the water, and you get a lot of film burn, and it's got this great vibe to it, right? And that was the last time I felt like I saw something that tried to build a vibe around California being this amazing place, because after that everything in TV got dark and gritty and annoying. So if you're gonna make Baywatch, it should be unabashedly like a love letter to California. For something like that.
Yeah. I think so. And it should absolutely have really pretty people in it who look good in swimsuits.
Yep.
Because that was a big part of the show. And also, I mean, just to your point, Phil, about objectification, women don't go to the beach in bikinis because they want someone to notice what they're reading.
Yeah, if women didn't want people to look at them, they would wear burqas.
They would, well, or at least they would wear something else, not a bikini.
Yeah. And to your point, it should be a heightened version of reality, right? Like you don't imagine that the person saving your life on the beach looks like the same lady who's a librarian, right?
Sure.
They look like different people. If we're talking network television shows, my recent guilty pleasure, and it took 3 watches to find an episode that didn't annoy me before I finally got into it, is Tracker, and it falls.
Oh, how is that? Have you? Because it keeps being popping up on the you should watch this thing for me.
Yeah. There's
I haven't watched it.
There is this one character that literally ruined 2 episodes in a row, and then after I got through I just skipped season 1 and went straight into season 2. I guess you could say it fell victim of being made in like 2023, so it was like at the tail end of some of the worst of what you'd call wokeness. But there's this one female lawyer who's the most annoying feminist you've ever seen, and she's super snarky. I despise snark. But the point is, in the show, it does what a lot of these network shows do, which is all of the characters are suspiciously unlike. Like if you imagine what a drug cartel boss looks like, it doesn't look like a mom from a PTA meeting. And when you imagine a room full of federal agents, it doesn't look like a mom from a PTA meeting. Yes, yet for some reason all the characters in this show look like moms. All the people in roles of authority where they're supposedly they have physical prowess and they're good at their job, they all somehow look like the lady who they imagine is watching the show, not who actually would embody somebody who worked at that agency, right? If you're watching Baywatch, they shouldn't look like me. They shouldn't look like the mom down the street. They should look like the highest, the most aspirational version of a human being that you can see, in the same way that we should be casting superheroes. They shouldn't look like normal people.
They should all be winners of the genetic lottery for sure.
Exactly. Nobody watches TV at least no normal person who's not politically motivated watches TV to see the real world. They watch TV to see something that's like a dream world.
Well, that they can aspire to be too. Yep. You know, like you're the overweight guy sitting on your couch, like, holy shit, I wish I was chiseled running down the beach like that, saving people's lives. You know, like it could kind of give you an aspiration to like what it means to be like physically fit, but also it creates this kind of stigma that like, oh yeah, it goes back to like, this is what the person should look like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, take it how you will. I feel like there's like a scale there of balance that I've just never really fully been able to figure out. But
well, they say that like men and women perceive superheroes differently. Men look at superheroes as aspirational, and they say like, this is what I wish I could look like if I had all the time in the world to go to the gym. Because that's what happens. The actors get hired and they spend all their time in the gym. Women watch superhero movies and say, why doesn't she look like me? Which is a different approach.
Well, like look at the last Superman movie that came out. Like Superman, like Clark Kent in that was a fucking goofball. You know, like it wasn't like he wasn't as serious as like Henry Cavill's Superman. Henry Cavill's Superman was insanely serious, and winner of the genetic lottery.
Phil will love that. Phil loves the
Snyderverse is almost perfect. I love it.
I want it back so bad that I can't sleep at night sometimes.
That might be the hottest take ever spoken on this show. Out of all Mary's hot takes, of which there have been many, wanting the Snyderverse back is probably the hottest take.
I almost need to see it through. Like at this point, like I just want like respect the completion. You know what I'm saying?
I want a full Batman with Ben Affleck being Batman.
Batfleck, yeah. I want the Batfleck, and I mean,
you can't get through it without drinking.
I'm kind of a supporter of Pattinson. I kind of like Pattinson. I'm not gonna lie. I think he did a great job. I think his Bruce Wayne was good.
I didn't even watch it.
Really?
I couldn't watch it. I didn't like the Joker. I didn't watch the second Joker. I don't like the aesthetic that they used for the new Batman movie. No. Not for me.
It was also 3 hours long, which is like anybody who presumes I have 3 hours, I just find to be.
I could have done without the 20-minute tear jerking, you know, with Alfred in the hospital bed situation. Like that was like, okay, we get it. Like you know, you're an orphan and you have a rough relationship with the person who's supposed to be your guardian, but is also your butler. Yeah,
deal with it, bro.
But like, I don't need 30 minutes of reconciliation on this. Let's go get the Penguin already. Like, what the hell are we doing, wasting time?
All right. We have, by the way, Pat the Plumber, thank you. He has also gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you so much for that. Also, Petran has joined the channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Like, as I always say to you guys, this channel does not exist without you guys supporting, without you guys watching, liking the videos, commenting on the videos, engaging with the content. We don't exist without you. So thank you guys. Cue to the day, ladies and gentlemen. And because I am nothing if not consistent when my wife decides to give one of us the Nepo kitties, I let them skip the line. So for Cue to the Day, we do have toast because today is supposedly International Toast Day.
Oh, is it?
It's apparently National Toast Day.
I had toast for lunch.
There you go.
I had a bagel. Does that mean I'm going to hell?
Yes.
Wow.
Did you toast it?
Well, no one informed me that there was a new holiday today. So is this
every day, like literally every day is a holiday of some sort. Here's toast.
He looks toasted.
Does. Oh, and if you don't notice on this one, if you see Chloe up here in the foreground, she is actually using the ShamWow we got from the ShamWow guy.
Oh, yeah.
As like a.
I thought she was guarding a piece of like American cheese with like her life for a second there.
You bought the ShamWow?
No,
ShamWow guy brought some.
Yeah, he was here.
There's one in the IRL room, kind of sitting like on the side.
I was like, cool. I went up to him after the show. I'm like, can I get a ShamWow?
Like, I know you got these, bro. Don't lie to me, man. Like, your trunk better be full of these.
Olivia texted me. She's like, you have to get a ShamWow from the ShamWow guy. I didn't get it autographed, though, which I do regret not getting it autographed.
Yeah.
I wanted to get it autographed. Toast likes to sleep in unbelievably uncomfortable-looking positions.
Yeah, is his leg completely hanging out of the box?
Yes, it is. It looks deeply uncomfortable to me.
I wish I could sleep like that.
Yeah. We love her. All right. Guys, let's go ahead and get started then. Let's talk about Sony. Let's talk about Spider-Man. Let's talk about Sony bending the knee to the communist state of China. Spider-Man, brand new day, bends the knee to communist China, confirms Sony CEO. Sony Pictures CEO Tom Rothman confirms Spider-Man Brand New Day won't feature the Statue of Liberty, featured in the feature film being rejected by China, who says they don't want it in there. And they tried to put it in they tried to get it in the film for China last time for Spider-Man No Way Home, and China said, yeah, you can release the movie here, but you have to take out the Statue of Liberty. Well, that Statue of Liberty scene is 20 minutes and it's the entire climax of the movie.
It's huge, yeah.
So they had to basically tell China no, and the movie still made $1.9 billion at the box office, but it would have made a hell of a lot more if they had, had help from China. But the question is, without that final scene, the movie doesn't do as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I loved that scene.
The whole thing drives me nuts. I mean, the first X-Men movie, the battle, You know, I mean, it's a big part of New York, right?
I love 1 and 2.
Yeah, big part of New York, Statue of Liberty, right? Also, big part of Spider-Man being in New York, okay? You can't have A and B without, you know, equaling C. And in my opinion, I think it kind of sucks that this is the reality of things. It's like, hey, let's, you know, you can film Captain America, but it can't be in America.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are we talking about here? And, like, do we really need to bend the knee to these people over what are we talking about here? Like, what's the profit margin that we're missing by using...
Very few. Okay, so when you make a movie in the U.S., they split the box office 50-50 with the theaters, right? Now, that percentage can slide and scale depending on the studio. From what I understand, Disney... they get more in the opening weekend, and then the theaters get progressively more as the movies come out, which is why movies are so front loaded these days. All the money is made in the opening weekend anyways. But China, they keep 75% of the movie. They barely keep any, like America barely keeps any of the box office.
That's ridiculous.
That's what I mean. So it's like,
why it gives you access to 1 billion people?
It seems not entirely
and it seems, in my opinion, in this technological age that we're living in, that these people are going to get a hold of this movie anyway. So, like, really, is like that small box office number everything for you?
Do you guys have a sense of how effective the Great Firewall is? Like,
I was going to ask, I said, what's the, like, how hard is it to get through there
like,
as the citizens?
I know that you can smuggle stuff out and smuggle stuff in, but I'm not sure how easy it is to connect with.
Well, it's definitely not worth eliminating American exceptionalism from your film just to share it with a bunch of commies.
Yep. So Rothman says that Spider-Man No Way Home should have crossed $2 billion worldwide. He blamed Communist China for blocking the film's release, preventing it from hitting that mark. Speaking on this podcast with Matt Bellani, Rothman said the third Spider-Man movie made $1.9 billion globally, but didn't get a China release. Rothman said Chinese officials told Sony they could secure distribution if they simply removed the Statue of Liberty from the film. There was just one problem. The Statue of Liberty was the entire climax of the film. Rothman explained that Chinese regulators said, no problem, but you got to cut that scene out. They weren't willing to do so. He pointed out the obvious. I'm sorry, the podcast host pointed out the obvious, which was that it would have meant cutting out the ending. He agreed and said that was another reason that they refused. Rothman also added that he couldn't imagine sitting in front of Congress explaining why he removed the Statue of Liberty at the request of the Chinese government. Well, there's like half of the politicians in Hollywood in America wouldn't even care. They think that's totally fine because they hate America. Instead of making edits, Sony walked away from the China release. Rothman insisted that without hesitation, No Way Home could have easily cleared $2 billion. During the same interview, Bellani joked that he predicts the new film won't feature the Statue of Liberty at all. Rothman laughed and replied, it's probably a total coincidence. So it's still set in New York. So I don't believe for a second that you make any movie of any scale in New York City and you don't use at least one establishing shot of the Statue of Liberty, which is a mainstay anytime you're trying to establish scene in New York City.
Well, aren't 1.9 billion and 2 billion like the same damn thing? I mean, really, like
not to the record keepers.
We're talking a difference of what, like 100 million. So it's like, yeah, that's a lot of money, but in retrospect, with the way these things are doing, it's really not. Like, I get wanting to hit that number, and you know, there's always that battle of, okay, we've got to do better than this last blockbuster movie so that we can really show, like, hey, go see this movie, you know, most views of all time, biggest opening weekend ever. Like, that's cool to be able to brag about, but like, I think when it comes down to a number that small, it really shouldn't matter. Like,
I think it got us an unbelievable amount of goodwill, because if you had edited it, then people here would have been pissed. Like, even if it's not editing the American version of it, people would have been pissed. Look what happened when they put the helmet on, what's his name, from Star Wars, when they did it to Chadwick Boseman, when they put his helmet on the China release of the posters for Black Panther because of the racism in China.
Yeah.
Americans didn't take kindly to that because it felt like that the American companies were being hypocritical, complaining about race relations in America, but then kowtowing to what China wants just so they can make the money with their production.
Yeah, I mean, either we are beacons of democracy and freedom or we're not. And I think we better just lean hard into the former, even if we lose a couple dollars at the box office. It's well worth it.
Are you paying the price of freedom?
Yep.
Just do it. Just suck it up, everybody.
What are you more excited for? Because you're a superhero guy. Do you care more about Doomsday or do you care more about Spider-Man Brand New Day?
I'm highly stoked for both because they're both massively huge in my opinion. Plus we've got Robert Downey Jr. returning to the fold after, you know, one of the most tear-jerking character deaths of like all time. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
But yeah, it's one of those things where I want to see what happens with Tom Holland when he encounters Robert Downey Jr. in Doomsday. But I also am going to need like that backstory filler for like what takes place beforehand, you know? Like we needed that last Spider-Man movie to really fill the gap in what happens after Endgame, right? Like that was a closure for me. So I really do need both. And I'm excited for both. I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I really enjoy it. I like the way that the storyline's been going. Alternate Universe has been great. Everything that they did with Doctor Strange, awesome. But I think I might be more stoked for Doomsday just to see where this new kind of storyline is going to go that they've rewritten after Kangverse died.
This is the other thing that I found this right before we went live. If we want to talk about Chinese censorship, I'll share this with you guys. China turns gay couple straight with AI in Dave Franco film Together. Yet another instance of China editing out to censor content and erase LGBTQ representation in media. Viewers in China saw the film directed by Michael Shanks. There's probably Stargate people here who like Stargate. I'm not the biggest Stargate fan, but Michael Shanks was.
I
didn't do the shows
so many times.
I didn't do the shows.
I have tried, and I was like,
the original movie was awesome.
The movie was fun.
Yeah.
But
Don't
I
let
couldn't
Tim
get
hear you
into
say that.
I couldn't get into the shows.
So, so it says viewers in China who saw the film directed by Michael Shanks and starring real-life couple Dave Franco and Alison Brie said that one scene was digitally altered to make a gay male couple into a heterosexual couple. According to reports, in one scene featuring a same-sex wedding between two men, one of the men's faces was altered to be a woman's, seemingly using AI. So China's like, the second it gets over the border, we're changing your stuff. The scene is used to reveal plot points in the film, meaning that the change to a heterosexual wedding makes the plot more confusing. So it's not even like something that's done on its face. China's like, we don't even care if the movie doesn't make any sense anymore. You're not bringing that shit in here.
That's so interesting. So it was just the face or the head, not the rest of the body? Did they actually turn this into a bride, or was this a woman's head on a guy's body in a suit? Like, was it a masculine woman? I mean, you just said they didn't care, so I'm kind of assuming how bad the botch was, you know? Like,
it says some heterosexual sex scenes were also removed because they don't want that stuff, kind of making it over their borders as well, because they have different ideas about modesty and about depravity than American Hollywood does.
We should just say no to countries that want to censor our stuff and refuse to export it.
It's very hard to do.
It shouldn't actually be that hard. I mean, it's only hard if you're like one of these greedy bastards.
I mean, China has less relevance than it's ever had in American cinema.
I think there's no morality in it anymore is the problem.
What do you mean?
There's no morality in like, okay, cool, like in this particular instance, hey, cool, you know what? We want that extra $0.1 billion, from China, even if that means we have to sacrifice, the meaning behind what this country is all about. And the fact that, a lot of these movies and a lot of these comics back in the day were built on being American and living in America. We're totally cool with that, because we're going to get an extra $0.1 billion out of it, and we're going to be able to show people this. Like, I feel like there's a line that I would draw there as an American and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take the hit for the 0.1 because morally it's responsible for us to keep things here.
Can studios do that? Like, can they? I mean, there's so many losses that studios put out. Can they take the hit? Like,
is it even up to them, or is it up to their board of directors? Like,
what do you mean?
Well, so like, there's so many movies that come out that don't make money.
Most of them.
Most movies that come out that. So can they afford to take a guaranteed moneymaker? Can they afford to not bring it to China?
Yes, because they keep so little of the money anyways. Especially if we're talking about it affecting the goodwill of the production, right? So, and this is just, I think that my point of view is born out of the fact that most of Hollywood seems to be rejecting China nowadays anyways, because first of all, China's letting in fewer and fewer films every year. I think at max, they'll take 33 American movies, and they don't even usually take the full amount. And if the idea here is that people get upset because you're editing your movies and it causes backlash with people, especially with the rise of YouTubers who started talking about this stuff and bringing it to people's attention, look at the hypocrisy of Star Wars, look at the hypocrisy of Marvel talking about social justice, and then, editing Black Panthers so as to not offend China,
How do you edit Black Panther as to not offend? They just color everybody white?
No. They just make them all Chinese.
They so in the poster,
China. instead.
That's what it should have been. In the poster, they put his helmet on. So in the American version of the poster, his helmet is off and you can see Chadwick Boseman's face. In the Chinese version of the poster, his helmet is on so you can't tell what he looks like. It's like a bait and switch, and then they trick you into getting into the theaters. But I do think that America builds more goodwill by not, worrying about what China is thinking when it comes to making their movies, because they make their own. The highest grossing movie last year was a Chinese movie, and it only released in China. Niza made like $2 billion on its own. Now, of course, it's the Communist Party. I don't know if you can even trust those numbers necessarily, but they have separated themselves from the world, and I don't think that we need them. And I think that it might actually build morale for America to focus on making movies for Americans and then letting other countries decide whether that's a movie they want to watch. America is a net exporter of culture.
Right.
We are a net importer of people, apparently.
For decades and decades, we've been net exporter of culture. I mean, that was like the whole Blue Jeans and Beatles tapes to the Soviet Union thing.
Wait, what's that?
Probably only Phil remembers.
The Blue Jeans?
You guys don't remember? You don't remember these Blue Jeans and Beatles tapes?
I wasn't alive at that time.
Oh yeah, that was how you were gonna open up China.
That's how you would get your stuff into Russia, and then you would like bring suitcases full of Blue Jeans and Beatles tapes and sell them in Russia on the black market.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was part of how we ended up with Glasnost.
Okay. Cool. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's have an open-ended discussion here. Let's talk about the U.S. men's hockey team and the fact that what I've seen says that journalists just seem to hate America because they're being very, very critical. They've taken a very, very long lens to the American hockey team response to their gold medal. They were, and I'm not even kidding you, I saw one tweet say they were caught on video celebrating with Kash Patel. They got a phone call from Donald Trump in the locker room, and then they were then basically taken to task because Trump made a joke about having to also invite the U.S. women's hockey team to see him. He's like, you know what? If I don't, they'll impeach me, which was probably in poor taste, but they laughed. It was what it was. And this whole article that I got into that I sent you guys, it's basically a feminist hit piece where they talk about how hockey is what they call, quote unquote, the second most right-leaning sport. They don't list the main one, but I'm assuming that's baseball. From what I understand, that baseball would be considered the most conservative of the American sports. And they also bring up the way in which the American hockey team's response, which they say failed the cultural moment, is letting down other demographics who may not have traditionally watched hockey. They bring up the TV show Heated Rivalry, which I have not seen, which is apparently all about gay hockey players.
Well, it's queer hockey.
Queer hockey. And so they said that with this new influx of hockey fans coming from Heated Rivalry, meaning LGBTQ, people that are a member of the LGBTQ community, and lots of women, which is also BS because women have loved hockey for a very long time. That might be anecdotal because I'm from Minnesota, but women have always loved hockey from everything that I've seen. So they're basically choosing social policing of the American men's hockey team's response to their victory, in saying that inclusion is more important than all of this stuff. And I just thought that was very weird. You had sent me the video earlier. What do you guys think of this?
Yeah. Should we show the video?
Yeah, let's go ahead and play the video here for people. Here we go. Let me put it on screen. This was Libby's tweet, which I had actually added to the folder before she'd even sent it to me. I was like, this is good.
Yeah, this is a good tweet from the Post Millennial.
Here we go.
I know you supported the women's team. I saw you watching their semifinal. I heard KK talking about you, Abby Murphy. But you understand how they could feel pretty put down.
So if you can't hear, it's kind of quiet on her end. She says, I saw you supporting the women's team. I saw you celebrating with them. Do you not feel how they could understand how they could feel put down?
I mean, I get it. I think, I don't really, of course, I have no really other comments other than, for the things that we can control, and that was, we supported them, they support us. Can't control about, what other people say. That's just kind of life itself. So, but for us, I thought not just the importance, but it was fun being around them. It was fun seeing them play. It was fun to see the excellence that they brought every single game, and how they're by far the best team in that tournament. It was just fun hanging out with them after, picking their brains. They were picking our brains, and it was just fun to be around them.
So then why would you laugh when they got invited?
I mean, I don't really have an answer.
Struggle
Honestly,
session.
Yes, that's exactly what this is.
It was just a whirlwind of a moment that like you can't really control what somebody says, and it just, I guess, caught off guard a little bit. But I mean, when you're talking to the president 10 minutes after you just achieve your dream, it's just the fact that you're talking to him. It's just, can't really believe where your life's at, that you're talking to the president of the United States after you just won a gold medal.
Okay.
I would like to address this
because
so the joke that he is being now scolded for laughing at is when Trump said we'll invite the women's team too, right? Mm-hmm. The women's team had won gold the previous Thursday. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No one really watches women's hockey.
I paid attention to it, but I like hockey. And I like USA, so it was one of those things.
I was much more engaged in the men's game, because that's like a storied whole thing. Like
that's
men's
the epic
hockey
rivalry with Canada
in the Olympics
that we've been dealing with for decades.
Yeah, and it's a whole thing, and it's like the big culmination of the Olympics, the Winter Olympics. It's the thing that's building up that whole time. The NHL is on pause the entire time that the Olympics are going on, so that the guys can go play these games. And it was funny. I mean, if you watch the video of these guys in the locker room talking to Trump, like, it was funny. It was a funny moment. And Trump's a funny guy. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. Like, he's very funny. He could take it on the road, and he frequently does. Mm-hmm. But it's very surprising to see. I actually was surprised, and I've been covering this kind of stuff for a while. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was very surprising to see how much hell the men's hockey team has been put through just for taking the accolades of the president of their country. Mm-hmm. It's a huge honor to show up at the White House.
A lot of teams, when they win championships, are invited to the White House.
Yeah, the Seahawks are invited. They're going to go.
No, I thought they turned it down. Did they go back on
I thought they said they were going. I thought that was fake.
Oh, was that fake? Okay.
I thought that was fake because
I didn't report on it, so I didn't.
We almost reported on it, and then I was like, wait, I think that's fake. But you're invited to go to the White House. It's a big deal. The president of your country is the president of your country. In America, that's a huge deal. And to see these guys, who a lot of them now have to go back and play in Canada because that's where they play, be put through this, I think it's entirely unreasonable. They won in front of the whole world, and then they're praised by the president. That's what you get. And his quote was terrific when he said, you're talking to the president 10 minutes after you just achieved your dream. Yeah. You can't really believe where your life's at, that you're talking to the president of the United States after you just won a gold medal. That's a huge deal. That's awesome. And I appreciated his commentary on that too. I appreciated him just being like, this is a huge moment for me. Why are you taking it away from me, basically?
The other thing they bring up in the article is that they used to do like the pride jerseys in hockey, and like a bunch of players basically declined to wear them, so they stopped it. That became a whole controversy within the industry. You were correct here. It says Seahawks inclined to accept White House invitation, sources say. Seahawks coach confirmed Wednesday that the team has yet to receive an invitation to visit the White House, something that is usually accorded to Super Bowl champion teams. McDonald said he expects the invite will eventually arrive. Will the Seahawks go if asked? We haven't got the invite yet, he said during a session with reporters who covered the Seahawks. And then we'll address it after that, after we get the invite. A league source also indicated that the initial inclination of the organization would be to accept the invite. Aren't they being sold?
Yes.
The Seahawks are also being sold.
They are also being sold, yeah.
This
actually
the
Super Bowl and they're getting sold.
That's rough.
This made me think of something. So, just on its face, I think about the divided way in which we are in this country, and I do think about how it connects to sports. I'm from the state of Minnesota, and one of the biggest athletes that ever came out of Minnesota was a guy named Kirby Puckett. He was a pro baseball player. When he retired, he got hit by a pitch and had to retire from baseball. And rest in peace, by the way. I
forgot about that.
He has since passed, but he got hit in the face and he got his eye, basically lost sight in his eye. He couldn't play baseball anymore. And they did this video package for him when they retired his jersey at the Metrodome. And in it, there was these clips that got cut together in the montage of the twins at the White House with George Bush Sr. And I was just thinking about, that wasn't at that time. Right? You were just Americans who went to visit the White House. Now, you could lay the blame at the feet of Trump's persona, as to why that is no longer the same thing that it used to be. And that does not mean that somebody like Biden, who's made his own inflammatory rhetoric, also made it harder on everyone to kind of come together. Obviously, Obama had very, very divisive language, but it kind of makes me yearn for a time where I guess that would have been that video that I was watching. If that was 87, who was in office in 91?
91 was Bush Jr.
When did Clinton?
Or Bush Sr. I'm sorry.
Clinton was
right after,
was like 1992.
So the video was probably from the 87 twins when they went to visit the White House. Great. That's awesome. And it just kind of makes it sad to think that now with something like the Olympics, which should be about the height of human achievement, people who have pushed themselves harder than just about anybody else on the planet to achieve this goal, it's been turned into a proxy war for stupid political debates.
But everything's that way now.
But that sucks.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that we used to have a generally unified country, right? We had a country where everyone believed that America was generally good, or at least enough people where the people that had outlying views were not the center of attention. They were not getting the focus. You didn't have media that was constantly focused on them. Now, the population is so split between the United States is good or the United States is bad, and that's part of why it leaks into everything, because at the end of the day, the political arguments that they're making really are based on whether or not you think America is a net good or a net bad. The people that have injected this kind of consistent political discourse, they're the people that say that everything's that the personal's political, everything's political. There's nothing that isn't political. And when you can't decide to opt out, which a majority of Americans used to do, in the 90s, people were just like, I'm not political. Maybe they would go and vote, maybe they wouldn't, but you didn't get struggle sessions because you laughed at a joke. You didn't get struggle sessions by the media as well, not just not activists that manage to corner you, but by people that are ostensibly there to just cover a story about sports.
Michael Jordan used to be really good at his interviews with that stuff. Like, he would just shut it down. Like, no, we're not going to talk about this. You guys want to talk about this? Cool. I'm going to go out and get ready to play some basketball. And they were like, no, let's skip it now. Let's skip it now.
It was societally acceptable to make fun of Jane Fonda for having been a political activist.
Yeah.
And then
it still should be.
Hanoi Jane.
It still
not
should
enough
be.
To just
and
to
now
not
there's
be an
like
activist.
Susan Sarandon and all the rest of them. But I mean, the celebs who were coming out politically in the 90s were really just saying, rock the vote.
Remember,
that was it.
I forget the name of the movie, but it had Chris Rock, and he decided that he was going to be a gangster rapper. And he wasn't. It was like the character was not.
Wasn't it Pootie Tang?
No, Pootie Tang was
Zapatai, my Damie.
CB4. The movie was CB4.
Okay.
And there was a song in it. It was
Pootie
a rap
Tang is
that
the
he made.
only movie I know like that.
No, that was Damon Wayans, I think.
Okay.
Sign your pity on a running can.
And he was just the song
That
was
movie
the
was
rap
so
song that Chris Rock was singing is like, I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
Black
I
and
do
black,
not
black,
remember
black.
that.
And
I do not remember
but the
that.
point is, they were lampooning the people that were like the black nationalists, the people that basically made their entire personality about their politics. And nowadays, that's just reality for so many people.
Well, we hit a point when we had Francis Fukuyama writing The End of History. I mean, we thought we had reached the mountain, scaled to the top of it, and we're standing there athwart history, being like, we win. That's what we thought.
Yeah,
and we kind of did. I mean, it was arrogant, but like it lasted for a little while. Things were sort of semi-solved.
Well, so they were, but
and then it was 9/11.
Well,
and it turned out it all blew up.
I mean, sort of. The seeds for what we have today were planted in the 90s because you had so many people in colleges that had this kind of the leftists that were really, really focusing on, getting tenure, getting into colleges and getting into the places where they could access young people and basically teach them to be activists.
You know what was funny is Camille Paglia gave an interview, this was years ago, and she said that, and she was talking about the activists in the universities. And she said the crazy thing is that the real activists didn't go into the universities. They went and started communes. They left. They dropped out. And so what you ended up with in the universities were a bunch of posers. And I was like, that totally checks out.
Yeah, right.
Fun fact to Brandon's point. There's actually a Wikipedia page for Republicans buy sneakers too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like explaining what it was and how it's more than just a quote from Michael Jordan, but it's used as sort of the example. It's the number one example you can give of how you can remain apolitical for business reasons.
Yep.
Which became more about just somebody in general being like, you know what, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. And he took a lot of shit for that. The black community was very upset with him for not citing. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember the name of the guy that was running, but when he made that quote, that was really just his way of saying, hey, look, I honestly, like, that's great. And I think he even sent, like, money to donate to his campaign. Like, he sent him, some money to donate to the campaign. Like, hey, I do support you running, but I don't want to come out here and take a side against what I'm actually doing here, which is trying to make money, trying to build my career and my brand. Mm-hmm. Because one way or the other, I don't care. I'm just trying to get out there and go play some basketball every day. Yep. That was one of the last times that I saw someone actually standing up and just saying, look, I really don't care about this political bullshit. I would like to just get back to my job, you know? It does suck that you don't see that anymore.
Well, it's nowadays it's actually more detrimental to your career if you decide to stay out of it.
Which is crazy. In my opinion. I'm a huge advocate for leaving politics out of sports, especially things like skateboarding, where like politics now has come massively into skateboarding, and I'm just like,
how does it affect skateboarding?
In my opinion, it really doesn't. And I mean, there's a lot of people out there that'll say differently, but now there's this whole like squawk out there about like you've got to be on this kind of like left side of things, and if you're not, you're just some asshole skater that no one wants to pay attention to. And it's just gotten really weird because skateboarding in the early 2000s, and this went a lot for a lot of sports, it was about the sport. It was about the people that were doing it. No one was asking who did you vote for in the last election. Nobody was asking whether or not you support tax cuts for the rich. It didn't matter. It was all about like, oh yeah, this dude just conquered El Toro with a kickflip. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Makes me want to go out and skateboard. Someone's political views don't make me want to go out and skateboard. They make me want to go out and get involved in politics, and that's fine too. I mean, if you want to promote that using your career and your platform and your image, that's fine. Go for it. But like, it shouldn't take over as a whole everything that sport is about, because at that point it's no longer a sport. It's just propaganda. Whatever the hell you've turned it into. Yeah, propaganda, know? So that's really my biggest stake with it. Like, just get out there and go do what you want to do. Do what you love. You don't have to back everything that everyone is out there into to kind of make your career. And it sucks that your image is based off of that now. And if it suffers, unfortunately, that's just a product of the times that we were living in, but it doesn't mean you can't stay true to yourself.
I mean, this is the exact reason that started Gamergate, right?
Right.
The politics in video games. People were like, we don't want this in our video games.
Feminism in video games.
Well, it was feminism is politics.
Yeah.
But
Feminism is a political movement.
yeah, and the fact that it is legitimate when people say that kind of Gamergate was the start of people being aware of woke. Yeah. Like that was when people were like, wait, what's going on? This is video games, man.
Wait,
we just want to play games and talk
right.
shit to our friends.
Right.
And that was, deemed unacceptable because, boys are going to say things that boys are going to say. Young guys are going to be, irreverent. They're going to say edgy things. That's just what young men do. And the people that decided that they wanted to be in places that were largely, populated by young men, they were like, well, we want you to change. And that has now or had spread throughout the whole country. And that still there's people that say that woke is dead. They're totally wrong. It's not dead.
It's hibernating.
It doesn't have the same power that it did, but it's not dead. It's not gone.
I don't even know that it's hibernating. It's taken a step back, but it's still very prevalent.
There are more people that'll stand up and say no nowadays, but there are still people that don't have the intestinal fortitude to do that. Good WWE word right there, or phrase.
That was a fantastic Mick Foley right there.
Yeah, intestinal fortitude. But
all right, guys, let's move on. Let's talk about Disney really quickly. Let's. Phil's a Star Wars fan. Or you were.
Until the sequels, yeah.
Well, I've got bad news for you. It's not going to get any better. Disney reportedly concerned about the
I
Mandalorian
watched
and Grogu.
Obi-Wan Kenobi recently.
The show.
I had not watched it, right? I was
The show
like, I
Kenobi,
don't wanna...
like the Disney show Kenobi?
Yeah, just sad Kenobi. Like
not good.
It was so terrible.
Wait, is that the one with Reva or whatever her name is?
That was
the Inquisitors.
That was when they brought in what's her name as Ashoka, I think, for the first time before they gave her show. Wasn't she in that show first?
That show wasn't good either, Ashoka.
I couldn't watch I couldn't even finish. I watched like 5 or 6 episodes, and I'm just like, this is literally just like sad Kenobi.
Yeah.
Like, why do you want to watch a depressed, miserable? It was like Luke Skywalker in the sequels. It's just like, oh, they're all just miserable.
And originally,
sad.
I was excited because they got the actor
Yeah.
to come back and do this, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. But I remember getting a couple episodes through it too, and I was like, this is just painstaking. Like, what the hell am I even watching?
Miserable.
It's not going to get any better. Disney reportedly concerned about the Mandalorian and Grogu release. Disney is reportedly concerned about the Mandalorian and Grogu, the first Star Wars film in nearly 7 years, according to a recent report from Variety. The feature film continuation of The Mandalorian, the popular Disney Plus series, which ran for 3 seasons before season 4 was scrapped and then reworked as a movie being directed by Jon Favreau. The film is set to release May 22nd over Memorial Day weekend. That's around the time Mortal Kombat comes out, and I'm definitely going to go see Mortal Kombat. I'm definitely not going to go see Mandalorian and Grogu. That time frame used to be the franchise's coveted window of release for the original and prequel trilogies. Variety claims that internally at Disney, there have been concerns about the Mandalorian and Grogu following the Super Bowl spot that parodied the Budweiser Clydesdale ads. I'd show it on here, but when we showed it before, we got copyright claims, so I can't show it to you guys again.
Wait, and you got copyright claims for showing an advertisement.
Yes.
Don't they want people to see the advertisement so they can buy their
Not unless they're
product?
playing it themselves.
All of it gets claimed all the time. You can't watch,
Really?
you can't monetize trailers at all pretty much anymore. You'll get claims on pretty much anything. It says, reportedly, the ad did not generate the type of hype Disney was hoping for, and there are concerns that the film, based on a streaming show, will not draw in general audiences outside of the core Star Wars fan base and Grogu fans, obviously Baby Yoda. However, Disney is more optimistic about Sean Levy's Star Wars Starfighter movie, which opens in 2027, which obviously has the huge benefit of having Ryan Gosling rather than Pedro Pascal, who nobody actually likes.
Yeah.
I don't like Pedro Pascal.
No, I don't like
I
him
like to
either.
turn off anything he's in.
The funny thing is, I don't think he's actually a bad actor. He's just not a good actor either.
Yeah, he's
If
really.
that makes sense.
Well, I don't think they should be throwing everything on his back either. Like he was carrying the weight of like these Disney franchises for a little bit, and it's just like, do you guys really have nobody else?
I think he's actually a tremendous. This is going to sound like an insult, but it's not meant to be an insult. I didn't see Eddington, but I've heard a lot of people say they really liked Eddington. But from what I've seen of him, he's shown up in a lot of the television shows that I really, really like as a great, like 5 to 7 episode guest arc actor. Above that of like a, an episodic guest role, but not as much as somebody who comes in to actually lead the series. He's very good in that role, but when it comes to this, people have moved on past The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I
and
don't care about it anymore at all. Also, Baby Yoda was like cute for an episode, but it's not a supporting actor.
Didn't they wrap it up when Luke Skywalker came? Like, I'm not asking someone to tell me the story of the second season.
To come and take him and train him.
Care. Yeah, but I mean, at the end when Luke Skywalker came and grabbed Grogu and went off, I'm like, okay, that wraps up the story.
Right.
Like that's the end of it. That was the whole story. That was everything. There were a couple episodes that were kind of crappy, but most of the episodes were good. It was a cool story and it was fun.
In the chat,
Luke Skywalker, I was like, this is sick when he came in and, kicked all the robots' butts. And I was like, this is awesome. This is great.
Right.
And then they just were like, oh, let's make another one.
I think it would be better if they want to keep going with the Star Wars universe. I think they should pick a whole new aspect of the Star Wars universe to go with.
Yeah, I'd love it.
As like Coruscant. Like, can we see what happens on Coruscant? How cool would it be to see
There's a lot of things going
Friends
on.
on Coruscant? I'd
be cool with just a series about what happens in the bars on Mos Eisley.
Yes, me too. That
just
would be cool
just give me like a show
little
that's
gangster,
like Cheers,
like even
Cheers.
like a
remake of
gangster
Cheers,
Mos
but on Mos
Eisley.
Eisley.
Yeah, or even
guys-
I think a gangster Mos Eisley would be cool too. Like you got somebody.
There's a lot of gang activity on Mos
running.
Eisley.
There sure is, right?
You guys are all wrong.
No, I think
All
we're
wrong.
all right.
Look,
Give
this
it
is
to me.
exactly the trap that streaming has fallen into. You know what they say? They're like, look at this big budget show. It costs a fortune to do. They're like, but how can we do this without spending money? I know. We'll find one small aspect of a larger world, and we'll make the whole show based on that. You can't draw in outside
Wanda
of like,
did
And we'll
well.
cast
What about
nobodies. We'll
Wanda?
cast nobodies.
What about
Decision was
Wanda?
alright.
Remember Wanda?
WandaVision?
The WandaVision? That was like a small aspect, and that did well.
One version of like
Highly anticipated, though.
9 other streaming shows that didn't do the same numbers for them.
Well, so you
And
have
they
to
spent
do a
lot
good
of money,
job
and they
with
spent
it.
a lot of money on this.
Sure, I'm not saying do it for cheap. I'm saying do it good.
Yeah, but Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of sucked.
Yeah, well, that was
So it was like-
writing. But the point is like
You have to have a good team no matter what you're doing.
Well, that was the team. They did great in what was it, Civil War? Like their on-screen chemistry, was so good that they were like, we're gonna give you guys your own show. And it was highly anticipated, at least by me and a lot of the people that I knew that were super fans for this shit. Like, it was like, man, I can't wait to see this when this comes out. And I remember waiting weekly for these, and just there was another woke aspect that kind of happened in that show, and it was just kind of like, where the hell are they taking this? You know, but WandaVision was great. WandaVision was original. I thought it was fantastic. I was in suspense. I was trying to guess what was happening every single time. I wanted to watch it the next week. And in my opinion, Loki was still the greatest thing that they managed to do, because Loki's story was incredible. Like, start to finish, absolutely perfect in my opinion. Nothing else has really held a candle to that since. And it's just been like, what are we doing?
The trap that they fall in is the same trap that they've fallen in with the writing, which is like superhero, and I'm talking about the comic books now, which is that superheroes are meant to be somebody, up in space fighting galactic, galaxy level threats. But what it's turned into is people sitting around in a restaurant talking and bullshitting about their lives. And there's something that's called it's like the Netflix pitch affliction, which is like, you're not going to get a budget approved to do something in space. Costs too much money to do something in space. Well, how can I use these characters but not have to use them in the way that we should be seeing them?
Domestic terrorism.
It's like what we're doing with the Lantern show, which looks to be almost entirely set on Earth. Well, I don't want to see Green Lantern on Earth.
Yeah.
I want to see Green Lantern in space. And as long as they keep doing that, I don't think it's going to work.
And the Lanterns were supposed to be everywhere.
You'll get some examples like Loki that worked, or WandaVision that worked. Hell, even me, I'm the only person on planet Earth that's straight that liked Agatha. I'm literally the only straight person on planet Earth that liked Agatha all along.
I wasn't a big fan of Agatha.
I didn't mind it.
But
Agatha
in general,
was cool.
I also know that that's not going to get a large audience, and you don't make something for a tiny audience. You don't make a show for like 0.5% of the population in Brett, who's like just likes watching stuff. So he's like, this isn't too bad. You can't make a TV show for one person or one demographic in mind. And if you're going to take, galaxy level characters, they have to be facing galaxy level threats. Or
now, in that,
like
I can completely understand appealing to your fan base with something like this. That's not a China situation, in my opinion, where it's like, okay, we have to, we can totally like screw this off because this is only a small profit margin. That's massive. That's the deciding factor in whether a TV show is successful or not, or just dies in the water in its first season, doesn't get renewed.
I'm hoping that they end up surprising me with Lanterns, and that they actually do spend a good amount of money and do spend some time there doing.
They kind of need to at this point, in my opinion, man. Like, I don't know where DC is going, but I haven't been excited about it in years.
Yeah, DC's kind of screwed right now. Yeah, unfortunately,
and have been for a while.
Restore the Snyderverse.
I don't want to do that either.
Resurrect.
You can't go home again. It's never the same the second time around.
Who says you can't go
And plus,
home?
it'll kill Ben Affleck if they do that, man. Like, it'll literally kill him.
I think Jennifer Lopez will kill Ben Affleck first, but that's just me.
They broke up. They're not together anymore.
And then, like, Jennifer Garner's now, like, on pause with her fella or something.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing. He needs to end back up with Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, and that, they never should.
Hey, look at Deadpool 3. That's one actor that never got his chance, because that was what Gambit was. Gambit was never brought in. So that was cool to see. But then they also let her and Wesley Snipes get their closure on their characters that were around before everybody else's was.
Like,
no one saw them coming back.
That kind of just made me sad. Like, Wesley Snipes being the height of cool in the 90s, and then seeing old Wesley Snipes, it was cool to see. But I feel this way now, where I watch modern TV, and I see these actors who were in their 20s or maybe early 30s when I really got into television. And they're not even old. They're just way older than they were then. And HD cameras are unbelievably unforgiving.
Oh, they're mean.
Oh,
those are mean
and it's
cameras.
just like, I'm looking at them like, bro, they don't look like, he doesn't even look bad, or she doesn't even look bad. He doesn't even look bad. But the lines are just there, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Actually, the amount of training that she went through, I don't know if you saw that, she put out like a montage of like the amount of training that she had to go through just to get back into what she called the electric suit. She busted her ass for like 8 months uphill and didn't really look that much different when she got on screen, and I was like, it's crazy the amount of work that she had to do just to feel comfortable, like physically, to do that role. And I really didn't even notice a difference at all between that and the character that she played back in the day in the Ben Affleck movie. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like,
you know that
that's an age thing for sure.
Sad fact that movie lost money, but over $1 billion at the box office, and it lost money because of how much it cost to make.
Yep.
Deadpool and Wolverine. That's
they didn't bend the knee to China.
Did it play in China?
Or did they?
I don't know if it played in China. It probably did. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't have gotten a China. So you can look that up.
There was no Statue of Liberty in that movie, so maybe that's why.
Like, China's like, we really like seeing the 20th Century Fox logo get destroyed. How about that? All right. Let's go to Super Chats, guys. We got a bunch of them to get through here. Let's get to a second crisis party. We are getting very close to there.
Are we at 1.5? That was a half, right? We count that as 0.5?
What?
Was that second crisis party that popped right after the first one? That was a 0.5?
That's a mistake of the setup here.
Oh, so that wasn't legit.
It wasn't legit.
Okay.
No. They got it for free.
Yeah.
How about that, guys? All right. We got a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. I'm assuming I might have missed this one. He says, be aware of that before he sold to Disney, Lucas had an entire TV series written involving gangsters and corruption on Coruscant, meant for adults, concept art done, and some possible casting. Then he sold to Disney. Yeah, that sucks. Disney wouldn't have done it anyways. He gave them a roadmap for a sequel trilogy, and they didn't keep it and use it, from what I understand. All right, Shane H. Wilder. Hold on, let me get this here. Hold on. Go to here. It's messing up here. There we go. It was being weird. From Shane H. Wilder, he says, happy Thrashing Thursday, Brett. Yes, it is Thrashing. I mean, Phil, he contends that it's always Thrashing Thursday. I say it's only Thrashing Thursday when you're on the show.
Well, look, I mean, so I appreciate the vote of confidence. And I would like to think that it's Thrashing Thursday because of me, but if I'm honest, Shane did coin the phrase.
There you go.
So he actually gets to make the final decision, in my opinion. So I would defer to Shane.
Fair enough. He says, happy Thrashing Thursday, Brett, Libby, and Phil. He didn't say Brandon because I didn't know if Brandon was going to be here for the show because he was originally had other things going on.
I can thrash next week.
But he can thrash next week.
That's fine.
He says, let's get some more members so you can unlock an emote of Phil judging those who do not go to the gym. I would have to find we'd have to find a specific Phil facial expression that looks particularly judgmental. So Shane, if you have that and you can send it to me, I do actually have a spot open for an emoji, but we can add judgmental Phil, or maybe like Phil being exasperated when Ian says something. That's good too.
Phil that remains judgmental.
Yes.
Ian is fun.
Katie says, hi, Brett and Mary. Well, Mary's not here, but thank you. I watched Trump's State of the Union speech, and I am so jealous that the USA has Trump. Albo is very dumb. Is Albo the name of the Prime Minister of Australia? Is that what they have in Australia? Is the Prime Minister? Who's in charge in Australia?
I thought it was Albanese.
Oh, maybe that's what it was short
Albanese,
for.
Albo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Brian Bledsoe says, super chat check 1-2. Yes, it is working today. Yeah, I got a message in like the creator portal on YouTube after the show saying that there was problems with YouTube chat all around for multiple people on the platform. It wasn't just us. Shane H. Wilder says, mea culpa, Brandon. I didn't realize you were on. I am still tired from Phil waking me up from my nap last night. A guy can't even chill in his recliner. So what happened? I saw a tweet about
what
that.
happened?
There was a...
Did you yell?
I think, yeah. Well,
Oh, nice.
Tim said, I guess he put
I'm going to go back and watch it now.
He said if there was enough super chats, I think it was like if you get enough super chats, that I would scream.
How many?
I didn't know. I don't know exactly how many it was, like 50 or something like that. But I didn't even know that this was happening. So we actually cut to the Rumble end card, and then Tim was like, "Oh, you got to scream," and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Just scream," and he cuts it over to me. I'm like, "Okay," and so I yelled and then just cut right out too. So they cut to the end Rumble end card. People think it's over. People in the chat are
Come
like,
back and
"Oh, what's
scare the
going
crap
on?" What's
out of
going on?
them?
And they came back and scared him. Yeah,
I've
And you
done that.
woke up this guy in his recliner.
I apologize.
That's okay. I've done this before with crisis parties where we go to the outro screen, and then as soon as the crisis party starts, I go back to the clip and people get.
If I wake up in my recliner, that's my cue to get my ass up and actually make it to bed, though. At that point,
There you go.
I don't even have a recliner.
I don't either. Like one of the biggest things that we struggle with is we don't have like a good couch in our apartment. So like we have to watch TV in the room because like our couch is literally would be illegal under the Geneva Convention. It's that
Oh
bad.
my God.
Like if you sit in it for more than 10 minutes, your back is done. Again, Drewish AF, thank you so much for joining the channel. We appreciate it. And remember, guys, channel memberships are open. You can join and use all of the emoticons that Shane and Jessica have put in so much work to get on the channel. So thank you guys so much for that. Shane H. Wilder says, Mr. Fluffykins signifies that you are a based Chad.
Based.
Yeah. I think so.
By the way, speaking of Chad, I will be working tonight and hopefully over the weekend to get caught up on a couple more episodes of Scream Queens so that I can fulfill my obligation to the chat to watch season 1 of Scream Queens. And one of the reasons to watch it is the character of Chad Radwell, played by Glenn Powell in his early days.
Glenn Powell.
Yep. Let's see here. High Voltage 75 again. Thank you so much for gifting those 10 memberships. Greg Duvier for $5 says, finally, Commander Phil is back from stopping the revolution going on in the Gongo.
Hey.
Phil got let down today. I kind of wooed him to the show saying that we were going to dunk on communists twice, but I got rid of the Camila Cabello topic talking about... she's a very interesting character. I don't know if you know who she is. She was in the band Fifth Harmony. The group, I don't know. Is that a band?
Don't know.
I don't think.
Are pops? If there's 5 pop singers in a
I
group,
think you
is
would
it a
say
band?
it's a pop group.
No,
It's a
they
group.
they would be a group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, she's the definition of woke on all topics. She's pro-abortion, pro everything that the far left loves, pro like DACA, immigration, all this stuff, but anti-Cuba because her family's from Cuba, so she's anti-Cuban regime. So they kind of run headlong into each other, where she like made some post about the atrocities going on in Cuba, and Hassan shows up to be like, the only reason Cuba sucks is because of America, right?
Hassan shows up to say something stupid.
Every time.
He's a
Without fail.
absolute imbecile.
It's all stupid. Everything.
He's incredibly stupid.
Brett, did you ever get it? Doubling back to Glenn Powell for a second, because you brought up an interesting point, or in my head at least. Did you happen to catch the new Running Man remake yet?
No.
Watch it.
Okay.
When do you find time? This is not like I'm not giving you homework, but I want to know your take on that movie because I oddly enjoyed it, even though I feel like I probably shouldn't have.
Did you see it in the theaters or on streaming?
I saw it because I don't think it did that well in theaters. It was a
didn't do that
quick
well in
release,
theaters,
and I think it was already on Paramount Plus or something, which I just happened to have for a phone subscription. So I like seen it, and I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I ended up being like, why am I enjoying this?
Yeah.
And I made Tim watch it when we were in National Harbor last week, and he's like, this movie's weird, but I'm like totally here for it. And I'm like, right? So I'm kind of interested to see like what your opinion on that.
Tim would have strong opinions about. I get a kick out of Tim's opinions on movies because he just lives in politics, so it frames every aspect of his opinion on movies, and it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, I think you might dig it, so check it out if you get a chance. Glenn did a great job.
I have a very hard time. This makes no sense. I watch old movies on streaming, but I don't like watching new movies on streaming. If I miss the chance to see it in the theaters, I hate the idea of then watching it on a smaller screen. But I will go back and watch old movies that I never got the chance to watch.
Like what? What's your favorite old movie?
I watched Rambo the other weekend.
Okay.
Love the original Rambo.
Yeah.
So like I would do a thing a couple years ago. I would wake up on Saturday mornings and I would watch a different old movie.
Did you watch Breakfast at Tiffany's?
I have seen it, but not recently. I usually go back and try to find movies that I've never seen before.
Easy
Rambo,
Rider? Did you watch
Rambo
Easy
is
Rider?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
That
No,
was good.
I'm doing mostly action movies here. Okay, I'm watching
Easy
old
Rider.
action
Easy
movies.
Rider is kind of action-ish.
I was also
Not
talking
action, but it's like Action Jackson.
I was also talking about how I think people are learning just how wrong people are about remakes and reboots. Because I made a post the other day about not the Fast and the Furious, about Gone in 60 Seconds being an amazing movie. And I don't care what anybody says. I love that movie. I love Nicolas Cage. I will watch it every time it's on TV. If it comes on TV, and I will watch it on streaming if it's on streaming. And somebody's like, don't you know that it's a remake? And that actually kind of perfectly explains why Hollywood constantly makes remakes. Because when I was a kid, I didn't know it was a remake. I did when I got older, but by then it didn't matter. It became my version of that franchise. And that's why Hollywood continues to make substandard remakes, because they want to theoretically make the remake that is the version for a new generation of people, even if most of the time it falls flat.
I feel like those jumps back then, though, were bigger. Like, you know, like you're going from like the 70s and 80s of everything being a freak, you know, everything fake, to like we can actually do these stunts now with real cars and filming and helicopters and the whole 9 yards. So like I can see like the first time around. It's when we get to like the second and third time around when there's really nothing that's changed except for the actors
now
and maybe
they've gone
some
from
bullshit
doing
storyline.
Now they've gone from doing the sets practical to doing the stunts on CGI, so it's actually worse.
Yeah. That's where like I've kind of drawn the line of, okay, stop remaking things now at this point, because you're not doing anything for anybody anymore.
All right. Alex has a $5 super chat, says, can we have a The Fall of Ideals shirt with Mocha clawing the background in the merch store? I don't think I have the copyright to do a Fall of Ideals shirt, but you can talk to Phil. I would happily lend Mocha to Phil if they wanted to make one for their shop, though. Mocha's a superstar now. All right, Exploding Prinny says, I'm looking forward to Scream 8, Sydney Takes Manhattan. Yeah, I just reposted that famous clip from Jason Takes Manhattan, where he's getting the guys beating him up on the roof of the building. He punches him for 2 minutes. Finally, he's exhausted, and he just knocks the guy's head. And then Jason knocks the guy's head off.
Clean off.
Amazing. Greg Duvier says, just order both mugs of Mocha. Yeah, you should.
There you go.
Mocha would appreciate that.
Two for the price of two.
Yeah. Pat the Plumber, thank you again for the 5 gifted memberships. Corey Anderson says, Ticks purchased. See you May 2nd, Phil. Let's go.
Sick. Thank you.
Go. All right, guys, we are like 2/3 of the way to a second crisis party. Let's get there, ladies and gentlemen. Corey Anderson says, Ruffalo is a POS, sees his savings account to pay for that garbage. I hope all the karma finds Mark. Yeah, I mean, he's annoying. There's also that really annoying picture of him wearing the hat sideways, which is the real reason I can't forgive him, because he looks like a buffoon.
Yeah, that's unforgivable.
Corey Anderson says, Wyoming is more beautiful than New York City. Libby, rebuttal.
I like my hometown, sorry.
There you go.
You ever been to Wyoming?
Yeah.
It's not really, I don't think it's really that hard of a choice there. I think I'd probably still pick New York, but that's just me.
Yeah.
It depends on what you consider beautiful scenically, I guess, but.
There's a few states I haven't been to. I keep a little map, and I check off the states I've been to.
That's why I miss tours, because it was easy to get to like 20, 30 new places you've never been in 2 weeks, because you just were playing shows.
There are 0 states that I haven't been to.
That's pretty,
rub it in,
that's
you jerk, huh?
cool.
Yeah,
that's
it's fine.
Cool.
In fact, I've been to Hawaii multiple times. I've been to Alaska multiple times as well. So
now you're just showing off.
Yeah.
Last week I went to Missouri for the very first time.
Yeah, you were saying.
And it was with the Air Force. So
there you go. On Air Force One, right?
It was on an Air Force jet.
Oh, okay.
There's a reason why some people pronounce it misery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we barely left the airport. We went to like the Boeing factories and stuff, and they're all right near there.
Corey Anderson says, I have to post on Rumble to say the truth. Well, I'll go over and check that once I'm done with these here, my friend. Corey Anderson also says, Baywatch will have non-binaries. Better not.
It can't,
not if they want it to succeed.
Be unattractive.
Not if they want
like,
it to
have
succeed.
you guys ever seen an attractive non-binary?
No.
Here's the thing. Now, if you're trying to make a show now,
technically, I think Demi Lovato considers herself non-binary.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
No, she just
she went
changed
back
how
on
she
it and
looked.
then went
I don't
back
know
on
if
it
she
again?
ever went back on it.
She did initially. For like a week. I swear to God. It was like actually
totally
a thing for like
did.
a week. She's like, no, I'm going back on this. But then I'm pretty sure she went back on it again.
Oh, yeah. She was
did
like,
she?
yeah, it's too hard to remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the real question is, now we're at a stitch in time. Does it matter if she was once a non-binary but looks different now? Does she have to be a non-binary at the same time as looking good?
I don't know. How many follows did she get for that?
She didn't look great when she was doing the non-binary thing.
So she has to be both good-looking and non-binary at the same time.
Oh, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you got to appeal to both sides in some way, shape, or form. Now, you
when
can't
you're
take one
being
side.
non-binary, you do weird things to your appearance to make yourself look like you're part of the whole, like, queer thing.
Elliot Page.
And that's not a great aesthetic, it turns out.
Katie says, don't film Baywatch in Australia. It is far left. Yes,
That is a good point.
True.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it in like
will
Alaska.
be overrun with illegal immigrants. That's what's going to happen.
Let's do it in Alaska, and every time is a polar plunge. That'd be great.
Burned Oils says Phil wants people with $0 to manage their money better.
I think he was more saying there's a reason why they had $0 in the first place.
Shut up.
Thank you for the rebuttal. Adam says restore the Snyderverse.
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
You don't shut up.
Adam
Keep
says thoughts on Nicolas Cage Spider-Man. I thought that the Spider-Man Noir trailer had a couple of hiccups for me. One, I don't think they should release a color version of it. After all, it is noir.
Yeah.
Secondly, look, I'm not an aficionado to the genre, so I've never watched like a whole ton of noir films or anything like that. But the humor felt oddly out of place to me. Like I haven't read a bunch of Raymond Chandler novels, so I don't know what the humor's like in books like that. But it just felt like weird humor for what they were trying to go for. But I'll probably check it out because it's Nicolas Cage.
Did you see the animated versions, like Enter the Spider-Verse?
I saw the ones he was in.
Yeah,
like was
where
he in the first
they
one or the
introduced the
second one?
noir in that
Yeah.
first one, and he had this kind of 2-second joke where he's like, sometimes I light a match and let it burn down on my fingers just to feel something, anything. And I was like, that fits. I'm almost with you on the sense of I don't know if they're gonna really be able to do that correctly.
Yeah.
And if they don't, it's just gonna ruin it. You know.
All right. No Control says, welcome back, Phil. Long time no PCC.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It has been. Well, there was a time when you were around, but we weren't live at that time, and we didn't know. We were still trying to figure out what this was going to be, and as I was kind of like working my way through all the
It's
tech stuff.
December to February to almost to March now.
Yep.
Genghis Khan of Gongolia says the picture of Jack Hughes biting the gold medal with bloody broken teeth will be forever burned in my mind as the greatest USA modern moment. Yes,
It was a good moment.
it was.
Yeah, it was definitely a good
I
moment.
just reposted that picture on my ex account.
Greg Dubier says Trump joked about the goalie having only okay game. Well, yeah, they stopped a whole ton of onslaught offense from Canada.
Yes,
He
they
said-
did.
He said he was the best goalie he'd ever seen. That's what Trump said.
That goalie did an incredible job. A lot of those shots should have came in, and honestly, their defensemen did a really good job too of covering the goalie's ass when he couldn't be there for every shot that was being taken at him. So props to them too.
It's worrisome. He plays in Canada, so I wonder if he's going to get a cold reception.
Let's hope not.
Half of our team was Canadian, so I would think that they're all probably still accepted at home because they're still winners. They just won for us.
Shane H. Wilder says, I don't care who the president is.
Well, they're
If
not
you-
Canadian. They're American. They just play in Canada.
Yeah, but they play for Canadian teams. So they're going to be around Canadians
Right.
a lot.
No, for
We're
sure.
gonna- we're
And
gonna
some of
be
them
them.
probably still have houses up there, but
Yep.
Well, you can have a house, but you're still American.
in heart though,
I think so. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been playing for the American team.
it's like definition, yeah. But Patrick Kane came down and was playing for the Blackhawks and stuff. He's still a Canadian guy, but he was considered more American because he was winning here, and his home and his heart were in Chicago. One of those scenarios. So.
Shane H. Wilder says, I don't care who the president is. If you're achieving something so great that he invites you to the White House, you go.
Yes,
Yep.
you do.
Didn't Megan Rapinoe not go
I have no doubt.
in 2019 when they won?
Yeah, Rapinoe was kind of on the fence, I think, and she had her own kind of woke shit going on at the time. So I remember that being a little bit of a thing. But
Tell by the hair.
Shane H. Wilder says, I just shared the...
She can't be on Baywatch.
No.
No, she
no,
cannot.
please don't put Megan
No, she
Rapinoe on Baywatch.
Unless she gets eaten by a shark.
Right. That
If
wouldn't
she got
be
eaten
bad.
by a
yeah.
shark, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder says, I just shared the I'm Black Y'all song and tagged y'all.
I saw that shit.
I
Thank
normally
you.
post it every February 1st just to see who gets offended. It's rude. It's very rude, my friend. All right, Shane H. Wilder also says, Brett said Sean Levy's Star Wars, and for some reason I thought Eugene Levy probably would be more entertaining. Eugene Levy, is that the dude who did Schitt's Creek?
Eugene Levy, yeah. And his son is David Levy,
And
who
he's
was
in the show.
on it.
Olivia has gotten me to start watching that show. I'm assuming there's some character development because they're all just kind of awful people to start.
It's a great show.
Yeah, that's what I've been told.
And there's each one of them has a terrific arc.
That's what.
And Catherine O'Hara is to die for in that show.
She was initially the only one that actually was fun to watch. I enjoyed her stuff and Eugene Levy's stuff. The kids I found very annoying at first. I like the son, his relationship with the lady who runs the the hotel.
I actually the children were annoying, but the sister Alexis, I adored her.
Okay.
And I goofed. It
I'm
wasn't
out of
Patrick Kane. It
mask.
was Jonathan Tays. Patrick Kane was from
Yeah.
Buffalo. I fucked that up. So,
All right.
whoops.
Adam says, you guys should watch the Pendragon cycle, Rise of Merlin. It's really good. Bro, I got to watch Scream Queens. I've made a bet. I got to stick to it. I don't welch on my bets. I follow through.
That's so rough.
Brian Bledsoe says, Andor cost $700 million, and I'm in the minority, but I enjoyed it. No, you're not. From what I understand, the majority of people who watched it really, really enjoyed that
Everyone
show.
I know who watched Andor liked it. I
So-
just never watched it.
Feel loved, my friend. Other people liked it as well. Greg Duvier says, I like toidles, and the right lane is for crime. I thought, Phil, you have been gone too long.
It's the left lane, guys. It's the left lane.
He says, he said you have been goon too long, but I'm assuming he meant gone.
I don't want to touch that one, but it's the left lane that is for, and it's crime, not crying. There are people out there that think that I say the left lane is for crying.
You get in the
It is
left lane
not.
and just break down
It is
into
not
tears.
for an emotional breakdown. It is for expedited movement.
There are people
bordering
who
on
use the left
illegal.
lane driving during an emotional breakdown.
Yeah,
I'll
well,
give you that.
That's
that-
not a great idea.
Just so long as they're hauling ass, I don't care.
Yeah.
Shane
Always
H.
ends badly.
Wilder says, I DM'd you judgmental Phil, Brett. Thank you. I've got
There
it.
you go.
Corey Anderson says, will there be a Destiny t-shirt available for purchase on this tour?
Destiny? Oh no, there will not be a Destiny.
You should make like a Destiny and Hassan shirt.
You saw the Destiny shirt that I made, right? The one where someone made a stick drawing of Destiny. There's this infamous photo of him on
At the beach?
Yeah, and someone made a stick drawing of it.
I
And I
mean-
made that shirt. I made that shirt, and I wore it in the No Tomorrow video. So
Oh.
it's actually in an All That Remains video.
That picture is no different than that one famous picture of Kid Rock on the beach.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Shane H. Wilder says, tomorrow I am dropping a new short story, The Padlock Cell. It is a Catholic psychological horror dealing with suffering, repentance, and sacrifice.
Where?
go.
Where are you dropping that?
Shane, you'll have to let us know where you're dropping it. And Greg Duvier says, Phil, what is a con for being an independent musician?
What is a con?
Yeah, like what's one of the downsides?
Spotify.
Yeah, I was gonna say streaming platforms are definitely huge. Spotify's the worst.
The people I like. I'm pretty bullish on AI. I think that it's going to be. I think there's going to be disruptions, but I think it's going to be a really cool, super interesting future. And I say stuff like that, and then people are just like, oh, what about when AI starts making music? Don't you know that Suno's on blah blah blah? And I'm like, bro, the music industry was destroyed 20 years ago.
It's
every
been
time-
dead for a
You
long
think that
time,
I'm
yeah.
mad about technology now? Like, it was the record that put us on the map is called The Fall of Ideals. It was released in July of 2006. Guess what year Spotify came out? Yeah, 2006.
What did you think
a
of like
travesty.
Napster and all that stuff?
Well, I mean, Lars Ulrich was right. Like his delivery was terrible.
Yeah.
Metallica going after people was terrible, but his analysis of the situation was true. The streaming of music on the internet destroyed what we knew as the music business, as the
Being
record business.
profitable, yeah.
It absolutely destroyed it. It's a totally different animal now, and the people that like. Lars was making the point, the people that are going to be hurt are not bands like Metallica, because it's not, right? It does a hollowing out, right? So the people
That's the issue.
yeah, the people that are big bands or that were big bands, they stayed big. They still had their fan base. The bands that were coming up and smaller, it made it immensely harder to make ends meet while you're out there trying to do it. I have had I'm extremely lucky with my career and stuff like that. If All That Remains had gotten started 10 years earlier, if I was 10 years older and we got started in the 90s and had a decade before, streaming came out, I'd be a multi-millionaire. Like,
I wish I got going in
lots
the
of
80s.
money. Like I'd be rolling in cash.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that didn't happen, and that's because of the internet and stuff. And it's like you have so many bands and so many artists out there that are in smaller bands, and they're struggling to get by, or just making just enough to make ends meet or whatever, because of the internet, because the cost of the money that you get from a label, the money that a label makes has gone down significantly. So the money that you get from a label to make a record has gone down. Now, granted, the cost of making a record is significantly less now too because of technology and stuff, but it hasn't gone down in the same way that the money that you get paid.
Right.
From records
So somebody should go use AI and try to have it make a Bob Dylan song that doesn't suck. That would be a good.
that is not possible.
Broody Gambit over on Rumble says, I used to order pizza to a friend's house, get them to pay, then randomly show up to hang out about 5 to 10 minutes after delivery.
That's hilarious.
That's good. That's good stuff.
That's
Klingberg with the
hilarious.
dig back at Phil. It says, sounds like the band should manage their money better.
I mean,
Not the case, unfortunately.
look,
but still
the
funny.
reason that I'm not broke is because I'm all right with managing my money.
Yep.
Corey6 over on Rumble, which I'm assuming is Corey Anderson, says, I hate poor people. I shouldn't have to see them. As an executive club member at Costco, you aren't allowed to make eye contact with me.
It's easy to hate the rich, but do you have the courage
guts
to hate the poor?
Broody Gambit says, let's go, Phil. The Snyderverse was phenomenal, and I wish Warner Brothers would have stopped screwing with Zack Snyder and let him do his thing. The
100%.
director's cuts are always significantly better
100%.
than the theatrical cuts. I will say that I do prefer Batman vs. Superman, the extended edition, the Ultimate Edition, far better than the theatrical cut of the film. I will give you that. All right, I believe that we are all caught up. Nope, one more here from Broody Gambit says, Skeleton Crew was fun. Essentially Goonies, 80s kids adventure in space, and Jude Law is amazing. All right, I think that's everything. We are good. Guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. One more from Shane H. Wilder. He says, X and Substack, Shane H. Wilder for the story tomorrow is where he's released that if you're looking to check out his new short story. I do want to draw your attention one more time, guys, over to the PCC Teespring where you can find a whole bunch of new merchandise that we have got up there. We would love it if you guys would support the channel, and I love the fact that you can now get a Justice for Mocha mug because it's not my job to get Mocha justice. It's your guys to get justice for the kitty cat. So go ahead and head over there and do so. We appreciate all the support for you guys, all of the views, all of the engagement. Everything this channel gets is because of you guys. We wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so much. And Brandon, thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. You guys can find me at Brando Inverted on Insta and on X. Check out Boonies HQ for more content, and check out the Skateboard Podcast following IRL some nights while we're working on a solid schedule.
When's the do you know when the next episode's coming out?
We were supposed to air tonight, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We're trying to push towards a regular schedule of like Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Sick. All
So
right.
we'll get there.
Libby.
I'm Libby Emmons. You can find me on Twitter at Libby Emmons, and you can check out my podcast at thepodmillennial.com. And our guest this week was Kurt Schlichter, so you can go listen to that interview.
I saw your post earlier where a lady did like a Substack post in a podcast, and you're like, I do that before breakfast.
Oh, I saw that thing this morning, and I saw it after I had written and recorded the monologue for my podcast, written a newsletter, edited and posted another newsletter to get published, and edited a column. And I was like, this is your fucking day? Are you kidding? That's your day? If that was my day, I would be stoked. I would be stress-free.
Like that. All right.
And I wouldn't be drinking the oat milk.
Yeah, there you go. Phil, where can
I
they
am
find
Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. We're going on tour this spring with Born of Osiris and Dead Eyes. We start April 29th in Albany. You can get tickets and you can get the VIP packages at allthatremainsonline.com. You can listen to the band's music on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
Maybe you could play a venue that's called like the Poorhouse. No? All right, guys, if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic. On both of those platforms, we are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would like to listen rather than just watch the show. Also, remember, Spotify is fixed. You can now listen to the Monday through Wednesday episodes. That was a huge hassle having to send a bunch of emails back and forth to try and get that figured out, but I hope you guys will check out all of the old episodes as well. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisisPod, and if you care, I will be on Timcast IRL tonight and on the pre-show on the Discord. So I will see you guys then. Later, everybody.